Hello and welcome back to the Borgata Casino Hotel and Spa in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We're back on the BetMGM YouTube channel as we continue the coverage of the Spring Poker Open Main Event Championship, a $2,700 buy-in. We're in day 3 coverage with more feature table action. I believe we'll be returning with 17 players left, playing down to our final 6 today, and we'll be back for a final table stream tomorrow to wrap up again the Spring Poker Open main event of the 2026 Spring Poker Open at the Borgata in Atlantic City. I'm Matt McNeil, Whitesmith, or the Blacksmith to many people, joined by David Two Flame Canane, and a guest making his commentary debut, Jordy Sanchez. Welcome, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
So we'll do a little bit more with you guys shortly, but as we can see, we're going to get right into the action here. And it looks like we may have actually lost one or two. It looks like we're down to 15 left as we're starting action here. We were setting up the table, or getting ready to set up the table with 17, so we must have lost one or two heading into the last break. We have, I believe that'll keep us with 8 at our table. And again, just 2 tables left, playing down to 6 today. We're going to get a raise here from Farid Jattin with the ace-4 of diamonds in the cutoff.
Yeah, Farid having the big stack at this table, it seems like he's got a pretty solid draw. He's covering both the stacks behind him, so he'll be able to play a lot of buttons and cutoff spots.
Farid here by way of Miami and or Medellin, originally from Colombia.
You know I can't help myself, Porter.
Is we have a list of both professional poker play and business for Farid. And married with 1 son. Shout out to Farid's family as well. But Jordy, joining us in the booth today, you are a Jersey online player.
Yeah.
I am wearing a non-earned Borgata Fall Poker Open hoodie. You got one of these for actual on-felt play, I believe, in the fall. What was the event that you made the final table of here?
If I remember correctly, I think it was the Almighty Poker Open.
Oh wow! So one of the deep field ones.
Yeah.
1,000+ runners, right? Something like that.
Something like that. Ended up getting 7th or 20K.
We're going to get a raise here from Joe Foote with a pair of 7s. Joe from, was that Wellington or Wallington, New Jersey, is not a professional player, but definitely has had some professional or some live experience and some deep runs. Lists his occupation as a plumber by trade.
We'll see what Doug chooses to do here, facing a raise from Joe. He has a big stack, can play in position pretty well post-flop, so he opts to call. Chip leader being in front of Doug as well, already folded out, incentivizes him a little bit more to be able to battle in the pot.
And a familiar face from yesterday and earlier in the Spring Poker Open, Ricardo in the big blind, and I'm going to hand off to Jordy, I believe, for the last name pronunciation.
Eyzaguirre, I think.
Very close, very close. It's going to be better than I'm going to do with any of that, so I'm not going to argue with it. And Doug picks up the pair of queens, Queen 8-5 on the flop, top pair with a good kicker for Doug and a backdoor diamond. It is going to check to Doug.
Yeah, Ricardo off of a tiny stack here in the big blind, just hoping to flop any piece of equity. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to cut it.
Did I find some? I think they have that mystery down there.
90,000.
Over unders like 12 people.
A bet of 90,000. I'm going to put the 7s in kind of an awkward spot to begin with. No diamond in hand. Wouldn't be surprised to see a fold. A lot of fairly strong hands into the under the gun +1 range. And he does find the fold.
Lines, please.
40. Just have an even stack.
Yeah, pretty exciting action here. 15 left. You can see in the top right corner there are a total of 572 entries to start with. So we're definitely getting towards the final stages of this tournament. Lots of money to play for first, and those 2 trophies in the background as well. Jordy, have you been playing any of the events here? Or mostly just kind of hanging out, commentating?
I did play the first event. Played one day, didn't go good.
Gotcha.
Kind of called it a day. Came back to play the main event. 3-bet kings, lost to King Jack suited in a 4-bet pot, and that was my day.
Dang.
What is
Sometimes
this,
it goes.
a bad beat server?
No.
Just having fun with you. Looks like our action's folding to Ricardo with an ace in the small blind. Going to go all in for final 6 bigs.
Yeah, this is close. I would imagine he can go with Queen 8.
This is our Winter Open champion, Matt Zambanini. With the Queen 8, is going to make the call. Unfortunately for him, I'm going to see that he's dominated.
Yeah, pretty annoying hand to see once you flick in the call there, hoping to at least be 40-60.
Yeah. And Ricardo going to the flop, ahead, dominating, but at risk. And 10-5-5 isn't going to help anyone. No real backdoor action either. Maybe I spoke a little too soon, because that does bring in a few extra outs. 3 of clubs on the river. Going to be enough for Ricardo to pick up the double. Back up to 550,000, up to a little over 12 bigs, a little over 13 bigs. And one more double and very, very healthy for Ricardo.
You're taking him. They're moving you.
You can see the full table list here from Farid Jattin, Doug Klevitz, Matt Zambanini, Todd Lewis, Andrew Porter, Joe Foote, Ricardo
Eyzaguirre.
and Andrew Chang. Several names that we've seen on stream either this week or in prior series. Matthew Zambanini won this event in January, won the main event championship at the Winter Poker Open. Andrew Porter's been on several final tables between the fall and the winter.
I was about to say, I feel like we haven't seen a series here at Borgata without Andrew Porter being at the stream table or final table of something. He's always running deep in these main event fields. Can navigate his way pretty well.
Farid Jattin picks up the pair of 10s under the gun, and we're going to see some chips going from Farid here.
Yeah, people expecting him to be opening a lot lighter here than 10s. Especially into a tiny stack in the big blind.
On over 100 big blinds this late in the main event has to be a great place to be.
Oh, yeah.
Action's going to fold around to our big blind. Andrew Chang off of, again, that short stack as you mentioned.
Yeah, kind of tempting to rip in an ace here, but it is pretty awkward.
Under the gun open, even though it's from the big stack, it's still an under the gun open in a lot of cases. And just as we're getting started today, we don't know what the history they have on the field together. Looks like we're going to see a defend from Andrew.
Yeah, I don't hate this. Obviously, there's a lot of hands that you can kind of go all in with and get called by worse, but you're going to be flipping for most of it.
Certainly like it now. Andrew picks up the ace, pair of aces, and what do we have? 4.5 bigs? Just over 4 bigs?
Yeah, this might be kind of a funny spot here because it's a board where the under the gun's going to be betting quite strong and frequently, I would assume.
Yeah.
And if he faces a jam from Andrew, then what do you do with 10s? No spade.
Well, Andrew does check, so it's going to go to Farid, and that is going to be enough to put Andrew all in. Andrew's going to make the snap call and see good news here. Andrew all in and at risk, but well ahead in the hand. Either a 10 or some running straight cards for Farid would be the only thing that would send Andrew home. Otherwise, we might have our second small stack double up in our first couple hands here at the feature table. of the main event championship in the Borgata Spring Poker Open, powered by BetMGM Poker in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah, I was curious if we were going to get a one big blind flop bet and then a jam from the big blind, but just decides to stick it in himself.
4 of spades on the turn, no change. None of the backdoor draws do come in. Oh, wow. The 10 on the river sends Andrew home.
Oh,
That is just a rude way to go home.
yeah, that's painful. Even off of such a short stack, you start to think you have some hope, and in one card it goes away. You can see him kind of shaking his head on the way out. Good game to you, sir.
Andrew on stream yesterday played very well, picked up some hands, got a good bit of value, and him and Yiming Sao got into a very, very large hand. It ended up with a straight on board, and Andrew had a nut flush and had a lot of chips go his way. And did very well, I thought, throughout the day while we had him of dodging a couple awkward spots. And again, a very, very nice run. I believe that'll be 13th place or 14th place for Andrew Chang, which will be just over $15,000 of payout. We'll continue down to 6-handed here as we will continue play here with 13 remaining, just 2 tables left, playing down to 12 or playing down to 6 today.
Yeah, and that might not seem like a lot of coverage for today, but you just saw a look at some of the stacks that are existing in this field. They're pretty deep, so I think we're going to get a lot of playability out of the stream today.
Yeah, we're going to see Doug Klevitz come in with an open here. And Doug wanted to send a shout-out to his daughter, Alice, and also mentioned that he made a run in this event in January as well. But more importantly, the shout-out to the daughter, Alice.
Shout out to Alice. Hope you're tuning in, showing some love. Andrew looking to go to battle with 9s, flatting in the hijack. Off of 25 big blinds. A little bit awkward being relatively early position, but seems like the move.
Farid Jattin in the big blind with an ace-9 and kind of an awkward hand as well here, facing under the gun action and flat. See what Farid chooses to do.
Yeah, he's playing so deep. Finds the fold, though.
Discipline, staying out of the way. Just kind of an awkward hand to be facing that
You just
action.
had the baby.
Appreciate it.
What kind of guy would I be if I didn't?
Appreciate it.
We got an
King,
Italian-
Queen,
an Italian
6.
spot here?
No pair for Doug, but a Broadway draw, a nut flush draw, and 2 cards above
on this
Andrew on the
floor.
board here.
Yeah, all the equity in the world
Well,
versus
Angel's
9s.
No, no, maybe
He's
one
going to
time.
check that. We'll see what Andrew chooses to do here. I would expect Andrew will check back, but we'll see if he decides to. Okay, yep, we are going to get the check.
I'll take a diet Coke.
2 of diamonds doesn't really change anything at all. No new draws, no anything else. Doug still with an ace high and multiple draws here. Andrew with the best hand, the pair of 9s.
Yeah, pretty big decision for Doug here, whether or not wants to bet or not.
We're going to see about, I think, 105,000 it looked like.
No, regular Coke.
It is a bet of 105,000 from
I thought
Doug.
she said diet for me. Do I look like...
It's going to come out. It's
And
50-50.
I know Andrew pretty well, and I know Andrew is capable of coming along on a hand like this. The question is this the time that he chooses to?
Yeah,
And that's not a great board for his hand. And yeah, he is going to let the 9s go. Doug betting with the draws and getting the chips with just that little bit of turn aggression, the delayed c-bet.
yeah, no club in hand. Maybe makes it a little bit better hand to call on blocking flush draws, but yeah, very awkward. Kind of an awkward size too. I think it was around 40% of the pot. So
Yep.
in position, he's probably gonna have to continue a good amount. Just doesn't think that 9s are cutting it.
So Jordy, you've again made some live runs, and obviously we've talked before. Play online a good amount. Do you change your style when you're in a live game setting? Do you have anything that's specific that you're looking for in a deep run when you're here in the casino versus online?
It's funny that you asked that. I remember one of the first times I played live, I had someone ask me, I'm sure all of you have HUDs at home online, and they asked me, like, you play a 30 VPIP, do you play the exact same in live? I'm like, I have no reason not to. I think playing even looser than online at live works even better. I think a lot of people are way too tight, especially in ICM. I think think you're able to realize a lot more equity. It's easier to pick up chips, and yeah. So if anything, I play probably more loose and aggressive playing live because I think there's a lot of more exploits to be made.
Wow. And we see Andrew here raises early position sixes. We get a jam behind for Ricardo for, what is that, 13 big blinds?
Yeah, just about. It's going to be about half of Andrew's stack. A lot to think about here in terms of the upside of winning a flip like this. He's getting a decent price on his chips, but he's going to have to weigh whether or not it's worth flipping in this stage if this jam range is concentrated towards a lot of better pairs.
Well, we'll see here. It would not be a flip should he make the call. And he does lay it down.
That's a good fold.
Yeah, I think that's a really sharp laydown.
I think with ICM, you have to meet a certain threshold, and sixes don't cut it.
Yeah.
In ICM, we're talking about basically the value of the chips going in, the value of the chips in your stack versus the payouts remaining, right?
Yes.
So, again, we mentioned before, as Andrew Chang exited the tournament, that they've locked up at least $15,100 right now. And the pay jumps are only going to get bigger, so the value of those chips is only going to increase. So as you talk about ICM or something like that, that might be a call that you might make at a different time of tournament, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, just in the money, then you're probably going to take that spot and be pretty happy about it. Or very early in the stages of a tournament.
Late registration for sure. 12 big blinds. Flick them in with the pair.
Yeah, of course. I think as we're nearing the FT, this is definitely going to be a high ICM pressure spot compared to maybe like bubble. Besides bubble, once you're around FT bubble, ICM pressure increases a lot again.
Yeah, and we saw the payouts pop up a few times, and just 9th place is an extra 8,000 from 12th place, and the payouts just jump from there. Every jump is bigger and bigger and bigger as we play up to 245,000 and change for first place. So every chip is going to matter. Looks like we get an open from Matt Zambanini with the pair of fives. Farid going to 3-bet the 9-8 of hearts on his button.
Yeah, pretty spicy here. Matt playing about 2.2 million chips deep, 50 big blinds.
And we've seen Farid get after it already in just a few hands here, and curious to see what history again some of these players have. We are going to get a flop here as Matt is going to call the 3-bet here, play with a pair of fives out of position in the cutoff to Farid's 9-8 of hearts. And this is interesting because these are two of our 3 deep stacks at the table here. So there's a little bit of that playability that we were talking about before. Queen Jack 9, 2 clubs on the board, pair of 9s for Farid, under pair to the board for Matt. Jordy, is this going to be a range C-bet, do you think, with the stack distribution?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has all the sets, all the straights. But Matt's also going to have them too, so probably go small here. I mean, Matt does have a lot of ICM pressure, as you said. He's one of the bigger stacks, so he's not supposed to be 4-betting any queens, jacks, or 9s. So can't go too crazy here with the sizing.
So we get 200,000 here, which is going to be, again, a little bit on the smaller side. We're kind of in that same range, 30-ish%. I think it's high 20s. And going to be enough here and take the pot. Nice little scoop up for Farid. Looks like he's going to surpass 4.7 million in chips here.
Yeah, and I think that's a good hand. That'll be some insights into the dynamics that happen for the rest of the stream, because it's pretty easy for the 2 big stacks to play kind of in tune with each other and not try to play huge pots, but taking the 9-8 suited as a 3-bet is a clear sign that Farid's ready to battle. He wants to play some big pots and extend that chip lead before the final table starts.
Yeah, and you can see the kind of the gaps here, and as we were mentioning the ICM pressure, there's a little bit of clear distinction from first to second to third to fourth to fifth to sixth. There's not really the pockets of chip stacks here. So there's the ability for Farid to apply pressure, and if Farid folds, Doug is on his direct left, and Doug would then have the ability to apply pressure to the rest of the table should they so choose. And it's kind of a really interesting dynamic. We haven't seen too many like this on some of our streams. We've tended to have a little bit more of a collection of chip stacks. So I imagine we'll have some fun, aggressive play today.
Yeah, this tournament specifically just has such a good structure. 90-minute levels. People are able to kind of not be forcing the money in and getting super short stack. People can bob and weave as they see, and that's what we got going on now.
You know, and kind of before, we do have a couple on the shorter side, but you know, we mentioned this throughout the week. One double for any of those stacks, and the dynamics stay relatively similar, but completely changes for them. I mean, Andrew and Ricardo are on 18, 24 big blinds. One double for either of them, and they are very, very healthy at this stage of the tournament. Mm-hmm. They're not in any danger right now.
Yeah, I assume a lot of the middling stacks here that are around like the 30 to 50 big blind range are keeping an eye on where all the short stacks lie in the tournament, how many there are. Not really too many on this table, one or two.
Looking at the chat, there were a few names from the stream yesterday that got knocked out before we got to the feature table today. We had a few people from that stream also on the table here. Ricardo on the stream, Andrew Chang, who just got knocked out, eliminated in, I believe, 13th just a few moments ago, also on the stream yesterday. So I'll mention Maurice Hawkins, who was on the stream, was knocked out in 16th. Just before we actually went live here, I believe they were prepping the tables, and the original number we were looking at was going to be 17 when we started the stream, the feature table. We had two knockouts in the last few moments of the prior level, and one of those was Maurice Hawkins out in 16th. Remo Bananas, who was on the table yesterday, he got knocked out just prior to that. I believe it was around 20th. BetMGM ambassador Mike Lavin, who was down to 1.5 big blinds during day 2 yesterday, had spun all the way back up and lost a coin flip, lost an ace-queen to jacks a little bit earlier today as well. He was in the low 20s, maybe 23rd, and we had 26 that had returned for day 3 today before the stream action.
Pretty interesting blind versus blind hand here. Todd raised it up to 2.5 big blinds, or a little bit less than that, I believe, pre-flop. Andrew just called. Could potentially 3-bet sometimes, but calling ain't bad.
We have the 7-6-5 2 spades board. Andrew with king 7, top pair and a good kicker. Todd with the open-end straight draw and the backdoor spades. We're going to see a bit of 100,000 on the flop and a call. 3 of spades on the turn gives Todd the straight and the flush draw.
Yeah.
Terrible card for Andrew.
And a card that maybe is perceived to favor Andrew in this case. So I'm not sure how that weighs into Todd's decision to slow down or not. Todd likely raising a lot of offsuit hands pre-flop. Andrew going to be calling a lot of suited hands pre-flop, so Andrew favored in the flush department.
See, another small bet, and I really like this sizing, the kind of bleed 'em sizing, and a lot of times this situation is going to favor Andrew, but we see Todd with the straight and the 4 and the flush as well. This is a great sizing of just kind of bleeding this exact type of hand class. The 7 with a kicker, 6 with a good kicker, you know, maybe your 8-6 or something along those lines.
Andrew being in position as well kind of forces him to continue a decent amount of his range, and king 7's going to slide in there nicely.
8 of clubs, not a great card for Todd, though, because Andrew could very easily be doing that with your 6-9, 7-9 type of defend hands. We'll see if Todd does choose to fire another bullet, and what the sizing he would choose would be here.
Yeah, I think another question could be if Todd decides to check. What does Andrew do? Yeah, he does decide to check.
We do get a check. Andrew has some showdown value here.
And he's quickly reaching for some chips.
Counting chips. Does check it back. He's going to see the bad news, but going to be very happy with the check. You see a little bit of the dejection there because he thought he had the best hand. He certainly thought he had the best hand there.
Oh, I love watching the Porter facial expressions after these hands. He's had some good ones on the Borgata live streams in the past.
He joined us in the booth for our first stream that we did here at the Borgata in the fall as the streams had come back. And then since then, I feel like he's been on every final table or every stream in every tournament he's entered.
Yeah, just crushing it recently. Love to see it.
On 14 big blinds here, still more than enough in a range he's going to be very comfortable with. But a nice pickup for Todd Lewis there, up to 46 bigs, 1.8 million in chips, and again, a very comfortable stack for Todd here. Now, obviously, Jordy, we would want to have Farid stack, but what's the next depth that you feel most comfortable with? Because one of the things we talk about throughout the streams has been keeping it. Some people choose to keep it simple at times when they're on a stream table. What's the range that you're most comfortable with, would you say?
I mean, I think when you play a lot of tournaments, you find yourself at that 30, 40 big blind stack depth. So, I mean, especially, like you said, the structure here is great. So, just you're able to make a lot of nice 3-bets with, like, suited ace hands, offsuit ace hands. You can apply a lot of pressure.
The non all-in decision-making, right? We've got enough chips where it's not just kind of a little bit more of a push-fold strategy. You see Farid with the ace-10 and a raise from his hijack.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of nice to have some of these deeper structures where oftentimes in a tournament, 30 to 40 bigs might be a top percentage of the field, but you know, you can be a middling stack with 40 big blinds here and just be pretty happy to navigate.
Yep. We have Ricardo picking up deuces in the big blind. Kind of an awkward stack depth for him. Looks like we're going to see a flop.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate a jam either, especially versus a chip lead open. That's probably maybe opening a little bit too wide, not calling enough versus the jam.
We are going to go heads up to the flop. Ace-10 for Farid, pair of twos for Ricardo. Ace in the window going to bring Farid to a very comfortable lead. 2 diamonds. Farid also the only one with a diamond in hand. We're going to see a c-bet here. A great board for the initial raiser. Looks like we would see. He was counting out chips, taking a pause here. And I missed the chips. It could be like 140-ish, 140 from Farid.
Yeah, size is up. It's about 75% pot or 60% pot, something like that.
Quickly takes it down from Ricardo. Looking over at the chat here, we have a question from Edgar. Is this an old clip? This is not old. It is not 100% live. We're on a 30-minute delay. This is action at the Borgata in Atlantic City right now. This is the final 2 tables of the main event of the Spring Poker Open here in 2026 in the Borgata in Atlantic City. There is other live action going on here. There's the Mirror Mystery, which I believe was a 580. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
And that's going on upstairs. There's, I think, today and one more day. Yesterday, today, and I think one more day of day 1 flights there as that continues this week. So more action to be had. There's also daily tournaments and certainly plenty of cash here in the poker room at the Borgata.
Oh, yeah. Can definitely find something for you to do here. Tables are buzzing.
Action folds to Todd Lewis in the cutoff with a king-9 of spades.
Some shorter stacks at this table now. 2 stacks, but in that 15 big blind-ish range.
We get the open to 90.
I like the sweatshirt from Ricardo. Not sure what that brand is, but...
And Matt, in the big blind with the Queen-7, we did see 1 defend. I'm curious to see if this might be one pip too wide of the gap. We'll see how Matt chooses to handle this.
Honestly, I think this is a great 3-bet candidate bluff. He's covering stack. Queen-7-0 is a good hand to use as in your 3-bet polarized range when you're 3-betting from the big blind, but he opts to fold.
Yeah, fold perfectly reasonable here. Again, I know that Matt has been on stream before, so I'm not worried about stream nerves for him. but we also don't know some of the history throughout the day. I imagine they have some hands together, but the dynamic there, they're both in kind of that middle range. Do they really want to mix that up with each other? We'll kind of get a chance to see a little bit of that. We don't really know Todd's image at the table just yet, and how they've played with him throughout the week.
That's also true.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, as we alluded to earlier, this is the final table bubble. There's a lot of ICM pressure that's going to affect how you can defend versus the opens.
We had some questions here. Are we playing to a winner today? We are not playing to a winner. As mentioned there, we're playing to 6 left. We're not quite sure how long that will be. We had 26 entering today. We started, I want to say, about 4 to 4.5 hours of play so far, and we've lost 14. We have 12 remaining, as you can see, playing to the final 6. They'll be playing this level, one more level, going on a dinner break, and then coming back for 90-minute levels, basically until we get down to 6.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know what the stacks are on the other table, but at least on this one, we have 2 shorter stacks, but I think we're in for some play for a bit here.
We had a question for the payouts as well in the chat, and you can see those up on the screen. The current payout is 15,155. 10th and 11th have 18,370 locked up, and then you can see the final 9 here going from 23,000 all the way up to 245,000, almost $250,000 for first place here in the Spring Poker Open's main event championship.
Yeah, pretty gnarly. This main event field really draws a crowd. You can see 572 entrants, and once you get that many people in a tournament, just that final table, the pay jumps are just going to get so drastic compared to what they have been in the tournament before.
We see Todd picking up the ace-jack, and we're going to get another open here. Todd, also family man, wife and 2 beautiful kids, was the comment that we have here from Todd. Not a full-time player, but has been playing, as he mentioned, forever. And then came 13th in the fall main event here. Said that he's trying to improve on that and already has with 12 remaining. So definitely an improvement from Todd.
Yeah, congratulations. You got it beaten by 1 so far.
So far, and I'm sure looking for some more with having 1.8 behind.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see Matt Zambanini come in for a fun button 3-bet here, the 6-4 of clubs.
Cheeky.
It's going to fold back to Todd under the gun with the ace-jack.
Yeah, and it's not like Matt has a covering stack by too much or anything. I mean, they look fairly similar stacks.
We saw the choosing to pass up on the queen-7 out of position. Now we're going for the 6-4 from the button. What are your thoughts here, Jordy?
This is really interesting. I would have never thought to use low-suited connectors as a 3-bet bluff candidate. I think this is probably a little bit too out of line, but like you said, I don't know the dynamics here, so maybe he has his reasons.
Yeah, I think like the 9-8 suited we saw earlier was a little bit deeper and probably more of the type suited connector hand you would want. Maybe the super low suited 1-gapper is pushing it a little bit, but hey, I don't hate it.
From the button, again, from position, getting, even if you get a peel, you're gonna be playing in position.
I thought it was 250.
Okay.
Wasn't it 250?
All right. This is the right one, though, right? All right.
When's dinner break?
The important questions.
Dinner break coming up?
Boys are hungry at the table.
Okay.
No, the break coming up. Dinner break? No. What time is it?
But yeah, interesting, and certainly works in that case. It's
No, in an hour? Dinner? No.
2:45. Yeah, it was always 2:45.
going to bring Matt back up over the 2 million chip mark there.
Yeah, Andrew picking up a hand. You can finally put some chips in.
Ace
But
Jack under the gun and 13.5 bigs.
yeah, I think it's important to note we are also 6-handed, so under the gun is just the low jack. He decides to open with the min size, which I do think is pretty good here. You're not going to be wanting to play too many jams in this position. Some hands obviously would like to, but... Well, actually, I say that, but now I forget that live has the big blind ante, so 6-handed, there's more in the middle. So maybe you can jam more from his position.
Matt Zambanini, the ace-5 suited in the cutoff here.
An enticing hand to try to put some pressure on, or flatting seems a little risky with the big stack and the big blind and
reach for chips.
Some deep stacks behind
so
too.
We'll see here what we get. Get a time bank. So one of the things that we brought up a little bit yesterday, one of the things they implement a little bit later on in the tournament is the shot clock and the time chips.
I took mine because you guys didn't. I didn't want to sit in there.
Looks like a flat call for Matt Zambanini with the 8s. Farid picking up pair kings, cowboys on the button.
Yeah.
Almost unfair when our button 3-bets and 9-8 suited right off the bat, and now picks up kings on the button as well.
I wonder how Andrew's going to react to this. I mean,
3-bet to 340,000.
I guess the question is, can Andrew just put it in and get called off by some of the 3-bet bluffs that might exist here for the button, like King Jack suited or something like that? He dominates.
6.5 more big blinds to go for Andrew here. Only has 11.5 behind. So he knows that he's committing himself if he puts any more chips in the pot, or pretty close to commits himself for any more chips in the pot.
Yeah, but I guess the other question you have to ask is, what other ace-X is he opening here? Ace-10-0 definitely, ace-9-0 maybe, probably not full frequency, so...
We saw Farid already fold an ace-9-0 from the big blind to position, so we haven't seen anything crazy from him. Smart, wise decision for both of them to get out of the way.
Yeah, nice fold.
Feels a little bit like bully ball from Farid, but we can see right there it wasn't anything even remotely out of line. As Farid, certainly the Cowboys a hand that he's going to want to get as many as he can in there, and not also give them those free flops. 5.1 million for Farid Jattin.
Yeah, it's so deceiving looking at some of these stacks on the table. You see 2 million, you're like, oh, they're not that deep, but 2 million it's 50 big blinds.
Yeah, and it looks like we may have lost someone from one of our other tables. Looks like we're down to 11, which would be another pay jump, and as we mentioned before, up to 18,300 locked up for the remaining 11 here. Matt Zambanini with the ace-4 of hearts going to come in with the raise. Looks like 90,000. Farid with the 4s. Interesting to see how Farid chooses these small pairs.
Yeah, I think a flat here is pretty nice. Kind of what I alluded to, playing in position as the big stack. You can not only put on the ICM pressure pre-flop through raising, but post-flop through just c-betting when you have position.
Yeah. That is what we get. And now Doug picks up the ace-queen on the button. We've had a lot of big hands in a short period of time.
Yeah, the button keeps picking up some hands to squeeze or 3-bet with, and this is no exception, except he might want to play passively versus a big stack already involved.
260.
That is not what we're going to get. We're going to get a 3-bet to 260,000 chips.
Interesting size, too. Both players already involved in the pot, relatively deep, so I'm not sure how many folds he's going to get. He gets a quick one from ace-4 suited, though.
Very quick one. With the big stack flatting behind. We don't know if Farid has shown any trap flats here as well.
Yeah, and Farid probably just getting a good enough price to call here. Not fun, though.
No, definitely not. And one of the stacks at the table that could really do some damage to his stack. So we'll see if he chooses to come along here or not. We already have seen that at least one of the 4s is out. We are going to get the call. We are going to get a flop heads up.
Yeah, 3-bets on only 6 big blinds, so
yeah,
not a huge size.
We're going to go to the flop. Doug with the ace-queen. Farid with the pair of 4s. One ace is out. One 4 is out. You can see still effectively a coin flip. Queen on the flop, top for Doug here. Farid facing not exactly a board that 4s want to see. The Queen 9-5 rainbow.
Yeah, I'd imagine we're just going to see a quick fold.
Dinner's going to be 5:30 instead of 6:30.
Jordy, what size do you like here from the ace-queen?
On these queen high boards, you're supposed to use a bigger sizing. It's a rainbow board. I mean, you can be quite polarized on these rainbow boards, actually. I'd like, well, he bets 200 and 700. I'd like B55.
So maybe the 400 size instead of the 200 size.
Yeah,
where your thought
400,
goes to?
425.
We see 200 here, and again, we don't know. We don't have a whole lot of history with Farid on stream here. We'll see how he chooses to play this. It does not feel like a board that fours really enjoy, but he is going to come along here.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I think a bigger size also accomplishes a little bit more in folding out some overcards with gut shots, etc.
7 of clubs on the turn. Having seen Farid playing suited connectors, not impossible that could hit what he might also connect with if it was a 7-8, 6-7 type of hand. I think we saw the 9-8 3-bet already. So not quite sure if he would think the 7 could connect, but it's near the range. Does bring in backdoor clubs. Farid going with the lead here.
This is spicy.
Is that 175 or is it more? 220.
Small lead here.
He's in a better spot than me.
220 here is a very weird sizing, right? Like it's a very interesting sizing to choose. What do you think this is trying to say?
I'm not sure. Like pair plus straight draw, maybe. But yeah, I'm not really too certain.
7 on the river. Interesting. He chose to lead the turn 7, and now the 7 hits again. We'll see what Farid chooses to do here, because the type of thing, the 8-7 type of hand, might choose that if we're looking at that pair and draw. And if we pile here, it gets a little uncomfortable for Doug. But I think Doug's just got to have too much. There's going to be a side call. We'll see where we go.
Looks like he decides to check it over, and I believe Ace-Queen should feel fairly confident, although you do have a lot of money in the middle already.
Yeah, if you put in a small bet here and you get raised, you're sick to your stomach.
Oh, absolutely. I think it is a question of how often you're going to face that if you decide to bet something like half pot.
We're going a lot lower than that. Looks like about 345, might have been 445. 335.
This would be such a sick spot for Farid to attack.
I mean, this is a check raise that would make you sick to your stomach. It's very, very tough to go for this one in the spot.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Ace-Queen may be worth a little bit more than this size, and maybe putting yourself in a bit worse position when you are raised. Like, I don't know. If Doug's using this size, it feels like he should be prepared to kind of call it off versus a rip.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday of what are we raising and then not calling off. And curious to see what Farid chooses here, because do you think like a Ace-King 3-bet might try to do this as a bluff to try and target, again, this exact type of hand? 6s, 8s, something along those lines?
Maybe Ace-King just decides to take its showdown.
Sure.
But it seems like he's really mulling this over. I'm not sure if the decision is between fold and call or call or raise or fold or raise, but
Really hope he finds the jam here. This would be so sick.
That would be a sick jam.
because this size to me doesn't scream like super strong queen, especially after a relatively small bet on the flop.
I think as play, I think Farid has all the 9s, all the 5s, and he could certainly do this with quads. I think because he's 3-bet so small pre-flop, he's going to let all those hands come in easily.
Looks like he just flicked in a call. Or was that a time chip?
Looked like a time chip.
Still haven't gotten those delineated in my head.
Yeah, you can see he doesn't have a whole lot of them left. He's used several in this hand. Is going to lay it down. And Doug, a little confused as to what was going on here, takes the pot.
Yeah, I'm not sure Doug was too comfortable.
No, definitely not. Based on that reaction, up to 3.7 million in chips for Doug. I think that was going to be one that he's going to really want to see back later.
Yeah.
And he definitely looked a little bit like uncertain afterwards. I had no idea what he was dealing with, it looked like, just off of the reaction.
Yeah, the reaction kind of made it seem like he might have folded to a jam there.
It's possible, but we won't know. I'm curious to see if we get a chance to catch up with him later, just to see what his thoughts are there. But that brings the two large stacks at the table real close, or much closer to each other, as Farid down to a measly 111 big blinds here as we continue, and Doug Klevitz chipping up to 92 big blinds in very, very comfortable places. We continue 11-handed, and very, very next hand, Farid picks up pair of queens.
I mean, wow.
And we are going to see the open here. I believe that was that same 90K sizing. Yep. We have some love for Jordy in the booth here from Curry and the Pot Rishi. Sending some shout outs to Jordy in here.
Appreciate you, Rishi.
My favorite backyard baseball poker player we get. I'm not quite sure.
You don't get that one, Whitesmith?
I'm not sure the reference.
Come on.
Action's going to fold to Ricardo in the big blind with a 10-7 of spades. 12 big blinds behind, 2 big blinds already in the pot. We are going to see the defend. We're going to go heads up to a flop here. Pair of queens with the queen of spades, which is relevant here for Farid. 10-7 of spades for Ricardo.
Yeah, only 2x the pot behind in Ricardo's stack. Just going to be hoping to flop anything, and that's certainly something.
That's a Ricardo flop right there. Jack 10-10, trip 10s for Ricardo, and overpair with backdoor straight flush, royal flush draws for Farid. With just over 11 big blinds behind for Ricardo. There's a good chance all of those get in here.
Yeah, there's definitely some worlds where it doesn't, though. If Ricardo decides to kind of slow play this and just check call flop, then weird turns come out.
There could be very dangerous turns for sure, but
this is a fairly sizable c-bet, though, not just one big blind. Looks like close to 3.
110 here. Yep.
So I think he can kind of just put the money in, maybe.
Puts it in, gets snapped off, and he's going to. Ricardo's going to see the good news. Farid, unfortunately, going to see the 10 did hit Ricardo, or the 10s hit Ricardo. Is now going to be all in. Ricardo going to be all in at risk here, but well ahead. You can see 80% to win. Running hearts, running straight, or a queen would bring the pot and the chips over to Farid.
Yeah, fair amount of equity despite being behind.
And that adds some more outs here. 9 on the turn brings in an open-end straight draw. The 5 of spades on the river will secure the double for Ricardo.
Eyzaguirre. Eyzaguirre. So
just going to keep tapping him in, Whitesmith.
So close. I can't pronounce it, but I think it's like Eyzaguirre, something along those lines. Eyzaguirre. Something. I can't roll hard. Yeah, that. There you go.
Eyzaguirre.
It sounds right from you. It sounds terrible from me. But a big double up for Ricardo. You see just about 30 big blinds now off of that. And it doesn't take much to spin and be in a very, very healthy stack here.
Yeah, Porter now the clear short stack. Nobody else in that sort of zone.
Nobody else under, well, I mean, technically Ricardo under 30 bigs, but right at that 29-30 big mark. And Farid takes a small hit down again to a measly 98 big blinds and back just under 4 million in chips here. Under the 100 big blind mark.
Oh, his poor soul. I think he'll be okay.
And yeah, again, very, very comfortable for Farid here with the chip stack, and 11 left here. Has to feel in great shape. And if you're going to lose those, you want to lose them to the smaller stacks as well.
Yeah, I'm really curious what the stacks on the other table look like, because this seems like a fairly interesting or potentially unique distribution compared to the other table, like 2 stacks in the 90 big blind range.
Looks like I think we're going to be getting near the relatively close to the end of this level. We're 90-minute levels, not 60-minute levels. Apologies.
Right.
Sorry to cut you off there. I had got distracted. But want to shout out the dealer Lash, who's in the box. Mentioned his brother Patrick Olson Wanted to shout out there a dealer up in the Washington area just had surgery today. Speedy recovery and a shout out from Lash down here. We now have Billy in the box.
Nice.
You see Billy the dealer gave us some of the inside scoop yesterday for Carter and Robert, who we had on. Gave us some of the inside scoop. Billy, we found out we have some very small world moments and grew up the town over from each other. We're in high school at the same time and in rival high schools.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, plenty of people in common. Shout out to Billy, and the whole dealer crew here. We've had a lot of very, very good dealers down here at the Borgata.
Yeah, they do a great job of making sure these live streams are running smoothly. Sometimes it can be some hiccups with the whatever chip denominations and making sure that aligns with the graphics. Everyone involved makes it easy.
Yep, getting the cards in the box, getting the shot clock, the time chips, a few of the extra moving pieces. We're gonna have, a limp from Ricardo here in the small blind with the ace-5. Matt gonna bump it up to 3.4 big blinds, it looks like. Or 2. Oh, well, that's more. That's 6 big blinds.
Yeah.
Raises to 240K.
A pretty big size.
Wow.
Choosing a large size in here with the ace-10 offsuit.
These sizes do creep up a little bit.
I think we just get Ricardo just,
Let's go.
just
I was hoping to
ripping
find that all
in
in.
his face. Ace-5 gets shipped from Ricardo.
For 25 bigs, I'm not sure if you can fold ace-10 here, just because I think a lot of the limp jam candidates are going to be the worst ace-X.
I don't know. It doesn't feel great for Matt. It's right at the bottom of that range of probably going to call a lot of the time, but you don't feel great about it.
Yeah, like ace-9 off, probably not going to be a hand that wants to raise call. I think it's really going to depend, especially on your opponent, how often they're going to be limp jamming those worse ace-X offsuit hands.
Yeah.
And Ricardo finds it here, and you can see the effectiveness of it. It immediately puts Matt in the blender with a hand that is presumably pretty strong. Matt covers him by about 500,000 chips, so if he calls and loses, he'll still have about 10 big blinds, a little bit more, so some wiggle room there.
And very familiar with the feature tables here. Again, won this event in January.
I'll do that. How about that?
Just the extra time chip in advance, it looked like it may have been. Knows that he's taking a little bit of time here to make the decision. Yeah, just again, that very bottom of range of just kind of uncomfortable here. We'll see what he chooses to do. I know you love the rip. What do you like? Do you like the call here, Jordy? Obviously, we can see the card, so yes, we like the call. But
I'm sure. Well, he has 40 bigs, so he's like a middle stack with 11 left. I think with the Rick's premium, he needs an extra bit more equity. I think ace-10 off now just barely doesn't make the cut anymore. I think in chip EV, obviously there's a snap call, but I think ace-jack is probably going to be his bottom here.
but right at that cutoff, right at that kind of pained, annoying spot. And
It is a very annoying spot to find yourself in. He also has to consider future game. I know Matt knows how to maneuver himself well in these final tables, so if he thinks he has an edge on the majority of the people, then, you know, just keep finding other ways to build chips.
does make the fold. Ricardo with a nice chip up there as well. Back up to 36 big blinds, 1.4 million. Very nice hand. Love to see the aggression.
Yeah, and it's probably a worthwhile spot to use your time chips. It's going to be one that you're going to want to think about all the future scenarios where, you know, you do have the huge stack. What do you do?
We hear Matt on the talking to Ricardo and asking, do you want to tell me now or do you want to make me wait?
I didn't ace, obviously.
Obviously.
Nice hand.
I'm not sure if that's so obvious. I think a lot of people like to take pairs there.
Todd going to pick up the ace-queen here. We're going to see some chips come in. 85,000 is the raise.
Switching it up with the raise sizes. I think we've seen some 90K be the predominant size to open for.
Going to Fold to Farid with the king 4 in the big blind.
Yeah, and kind of what Jordy said earlier, these high-low type hands make for pretty solid 3-bets if you want to. He decides to pass.
That might be a little bit of the online 3-bet versus the live stream table 3-bet.
Yeah, you might even get a little bit more credit on the live stream table 3-bet.
Yeah, possibly. As we continue here, we mentioned Billy in the box. He wanted to shout out his little ones, Charlotte and Audrey. Happy Mother's Day to his mother and his girlfriend, Samantha. So shout out to the family of our dealer, Billy in the box. It's one of my favorite things to say down here. It just rolls off the tongue.
I'm noticing that.
A very, very nice, welcoming, and seemingly well-liked dealer.
Cards in the box. Everybody.
Shout out Billy.
On cue, keeping everyone in line. Todd with the ace 4 of spades, going to come in for a raise here.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that ace-10 offhand. I'm really curious to talk about that one later.
I hope that we hear them discussing it after it comes through the stream.
Yeah.
Got this in.
No resistance as Todd picks up another pot here. We have a comment in the chat. Ask Jordy about his heads up for his ring victory against Sensei. Is that last night?
Yeah, that was last night.
You won an online ring last night, Jordy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. He got me good a couple times. Thought I was going to lose that one, but clutched it up at the end.
Nice. Congrats on that.
It's crazy.
It's too much. It is. It's fun, though.
Great dealer, great human, massive golden retriever energy for Billy. Some shout out in the chat for Billy. Billy, the substitute teacher floor man too. We're going to fold to Farid on the button with the king 7 offsuit.
Yeah, and he's got to be a little bit more careful now that Doug's stack is starting to be a little bit closer to him. They can start to put some threats onto each other's stacks. Doesn't discourage him for now, though, and
we're going to see the raise.
Doug folds the ace-6 suit, and that's kind of the type of hand that could have maybe called and put the post-flop pressure on, but still slightly covered.
Yep, and over 3.9, approaching that 4 million mark again for Farid.
We've had a couple. No. Oh yeah, actually. But let me ask him a question. We've had a couple different answers. When is dinner? Is it after? Okay, so the other guy said the opposite.
It's dinner's next break?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I figured.
As you can hear on the table, just discussing the break schedules. They did.
On the floor should know that answer.
They did change it to 90-minute levels for today, and they're taking a break after every level.
He was like, next break.
This next break is going to be a 15-minute break. The following dinner break is, I believe, a 75-minute dinner break.
Nice. Yeah, some adjustments to the blind levels just to allow for playability. Andrew Porter in the big blind here off of the micro stack. Already put 80K of his stack into the middle here. Going to be hoping to get at least something with equity to call.
You see the raise from Farid with the king 3 of clubs. Folds to Todd in the small blind, ace 9 offsuit. King 8 for Andrew.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a good enough hand to call and take your equity.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, facing the big stack, I expect we'll see a flop here from him. Gonna take his time.
Yeah, maybe also asking the question, how often can I get called by worse when I jam?
And he'd see in this case, he would get called, and he would get called by worse. I would expect he would get called because we would only be looking at about 5 more bigs, having already put 2.5 in.
Yeah.
But we're going to get just a call. We are going to see the flop. We're heads up here. Andrew Porter with a King-8 offsuit. King of diamonds, 8 of hearts. Farid Jattin, King-3 of clubs. Queen-Jack 4, 2 spades.
Yeah, a little less than pot behind for Porter. Not going to be able to fight back much if we see a bet here. Seems like a pretty good hand to start betting with.
We're going to see what looks like 1 big blind. Is that a 40,000? 1 big blind bet here.
Yeah, I really like this.
Just going to fold and fold out the better king. Well done, Farid, picking up more chips and back over that 4 million chip mark. Looks like, again, just back over that 100 big blinds, which is a very, very fun place to be this late in a tournament when you're playing for $250,000.
He's returned to safety, back above the line. Once again, you can see the 2 trophies in the background there on the table, what the players are battling for.
In addition to the near $250,000, we'll get a little better look as we go on, I imagine, as that will come into the forefront when we do get down to our final table of 9. But the BetMGM Poker Trophy and the Borgata Casino Trophy will go to the winner, and both of them are very, very sharp.
Screw the money. Everyone knows we just play for trophies and shiny objects and things like that.
You know, winning anything like that, whatever it may be, whether it's a den caddy that will be hand-delivered by a BetMGM Poker ambassador or a hoodie, a jersey, all of those just add that little bit extra to any tournament you might have the fortune to win. But the trophies here are just a little bit extra in my mind. We're going to see a raise from Doug with the Ace-8 offsuit from the cutoff. Back to that 90,000 size. Andrew Porter in the small blind, 5 big blinds behind King-Queen offsuit. I expect we'll see this go all in here.
Yeah. Slightly annoying to be behind to an ace here, but that's going to be a fairly likely scenario. You're just getting a great enough price.
Too strong a hand to get away from, and just you know that so many times you're going to be in this 60-40 spot, but you could also be dominating a lot of kings.
Yeah, that's the hope, right? You're like, please just flip over Queen-Jack suited or something.
Yep. Andrew Porter going to be all in and at risk with a King-Queen offsuit. Doug ahead here with the Ace-8. Doug Klevitz ahead with the Ace-8 off.
Okay.
Jack-9, 2. Add some outs for Andrew.
Yeah,
King,
a lot of
Queen,
equity.
or 10. 4 of hearts doesn't help at all. King, Queen, or 10 only. King of diamonds on the river. Going to bring the double for Mr. Porter. And that's going to bring him back up to a relatively healthy spot. That'll be 13 big blinds right there for Andrew, it looks like.
You thought there was going to be a main event final table and we weren't going to see Andrew Porter there? Come on, guys.
Andrew does very well in these live tournaments and online as well. And I will say one of the nicer people that I've had the fortune of meeting in the poker community. Very much a family man. I've met him and his wife, and she's also a lovely woman, and 2 young ones at home. And one of my favorite stories with him was he was playing an online tournament in the delivery room, one of the first $1,000 buy-ins that came back when online poker came back after COVID, or basically during COVID, or just after COVID in Pennsylvania. He was playing an online from the delivery room and chopped the tournament, knowing, Andrew, he would never have chopped if it hadn't been for the fact that he was there with his wife awaiting the birth of their first child.
When you come back around? I'm sorry, I didn't see you last time.
An absolute crusher, and again, like I said, as nice of a person as you'll see. Farid with the ace-9 offsuit here, going to open under the gun. Back to this 90,000 size.
Doug thinking about getting in the mix with the queen-10 off. Maybe a little bit on the looser side, facing an open from early position, but
We are short, so it's a shorter table, not quite 9-handed under the gun opening ranges, but wisely steps aside.
yeah, it's a good point. I keep looking at the under the gun label and forgetting that that's low jack.
We are now 6-handed here, 5-handed on the other table as there's 11 left as we continue here in the poker room at the Borgata in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Action will fold to Matt Zambanini in the big blind with pocket queens. Looks down and sees the ladies. He's off of, what is that, just under 40 big blinds?
Yeah, it looks like so. I imagine.
Those are some 3-betting chips right there.
Yeah.
Looks 330, it looks like. 330 is the size that he chooses.
You know, funny enough, he's not supposed to 3-bet here from the big blind.
1.5-ish to start.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about. I was just about to propose. Like, I think jacks might be a pretty clean call from the big blind here. Queens might be able to 3-bet at some frequency, but
It's a
when you
very,
get jammed on, you don't feel too great.
a very thin 3-bet range here. And I would think queens and maybe ace-king off.
Yeah, ace king off and queens are definitely mixing here from the big blind. King, it's really, really tight here when you're doing it versus +1 or low jack who is open raising. Like kings, ace king suited aces is basically the bottom of your range.
Yeah, and we see it works here for Matt. Chips up to 1.7 million. Farid, you know, choosing to respect the big blind aggression. And yeah, it's one of those that
freaking bonkers.
you get into some of these spots and you'll see some of these raises that might be a little bit different from how we might think from an online street. And it's I really enjoy seeing people choosing the aggressive line. And we've seen that a bit from Matt multiple times on prior streams and already today with the 6-4 from the button. And I think we might not have had the 6-4 come through yet, but if you see the 6-4 3-bet, obviously different situations, not a button 3-bet, but that's the kind of thing that might get those, you know, playbacks when you have those big hands. We're going to see Todd Lewis open the ace-9 here from his hijack to 85,000.
Yeah, I definitely like the open, but you do have to proceed with a lot of caution, given that Farid is in the big blind.
We'll fold over to Matt in the small blind with the suited king-4 of hearts. Looks like we're looking for some out-of-position action here from Matt. Gonna make a call. Ace-4 off for Farid in the big blind. We already saw Farid fold ace-9 to an open and a flat. We'll see how he chooses the ace-4 here.
Yeah, I think both of those were earlier positions, so maybe you're feeling a little bit more comfortable having position on the small blind.
Interesting to use. I think that might have been his last time chip as well.
Yeah, I mean,
something that could come into play as we continue throughout the day, because I don't believe they'll replenish those as we get to the final table. I'm not sure. I thought that was for a full day. That might be adjusted for final table action when we get down to 9.
But it looks like he found the raise here, which is it's probably a pretty sharp move.
We do see a 3-bet. Getting a quick count from Billy in the box.
Oh, I love this 3-bet. I think Farid is
410.
one of the most ICM-aware people. He knows calling here is never going to be good. This is going to be a fold or 3-bet spot.
Yeah, and we get the 3-bet to over 10 bigs, a good size in here multi-way, and we can see that it's going to work. I can't picture Todd choosing the ace-9 as the hill to take the stand on. And same thing for Matt here. I've been wrong many, many times in the booth, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So I've heard.
You probably chirped as well.
Maybe.
All in.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Matt Zambanini going to go for the pretty close to snap all in and gets a snap fold. Then we are wrong again, and what a huge pickup for Matt right there.
That's sick.
That's amazing. 500,000 to Matt Zambanini from that pot. Up over 2 million in chips, 56 big blinds.
I think Matt's small blind range is going to be pretty linear here. He's going to be flatting a lot of 8s, 9s, 10s even. So I think when he takes this polarized, jacks even, queens sometimes even. So when he takes this big blind polarized 3-betting range, I think attacking linearly with these medium pocket pairs is going to be great. So the king 4 is not the right candidate, but I love it.
The right candidate, though.
Yeah.
You know, it might not be the right candidate of hands, but the right candidate of opponent. We've seen Farid 3-betting multiple times already today, and
He's been great.
I think these guys definitely understand the dynamic between each other. That's great. I love it.
I love seeing not just letting the big stack bully around too, like that fight back right there, because Matt was so deep going into that. Like it would make Farid, his call off range have to be very high because of the future game as well.
Yeah. I can see why Matt's so successful in these tournaments. I mean, he's always playing for the win. That's great.
That's a fearless move right there. Again, I love being wrong talking about that, because that's not a spot that I'm finding correctly too often. That's a spot that I flip my cards over and I'm showing the king 4 and the other person sitting on the aces, and it's like the clear and obvious one, and I love seeing this aggression. And again, just the ability to apply pressure not from the biggest stack at the table is a really fun thing to see.
Quick fold from Doug in the big blind, taking a peek at the ace-deuce off and chucking him down.
We have a BetMGM ambassador in the chat saying, "This is street poker. You sim nerds would never get it." Mike Lavin, very good run in this, and I apologize. I did mention it earlier on the stream, but the BetMGM ambassador was down to 1.5 big blinds early in day 2 yesterday, spun it all the way back up, and then lost a flip early in the day today. Was on stream yesterday, came in short stack to the stream, and just folded his way to accumulating more chips. Don't ask me how that happens, but he just folded his way and ended up with more chips than he started the day with. And another deep run for the ambassador for BetMGM Poker. And you know, definitely someone who knows a little bit about street poker.
Nitty Lavin doing it again.
I believe it's Lavin Knit or Knit Lavin. I believe are the two terms that we're coining.
Lavin, it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
What, Knit Lavin?
Lavin Knit.
Lavin Knit. Both of them. I like both of them. It feels like a lot of people have liked Lavin Knit. I like Knit Lavin because I have an online handle of Mick Lavin, throwing some needles over towards him as well. So I like the balance with those two. But I feel like we've seen a pretty consensus of Lavin Knit being the appropriate moniker. We see Farid raise from the button with the ace-jack. Doug in the small blind with the pocket 5s. Just going to call. And Andrew Porter in the big blind with an ace-4 of diamonds, and this is a squeeze rip hand if I've ever seen one for Porter.
Yeah, button range is going to be wide, small blind calling range going to be wide, just getting infinite folds.
Yeah, and we're going to get an all-in here, and this is not going to work for Andrew, unfortunately. I don't know who it's going to be. I imagine Farid will be in this hand, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no way Farid's folding.
It's going to be for 12 big blinds.
Kind of like.
So looks like Farid's grabbing some calling chips, doing some counting here now. And if for whatever reason Farid would fold, I can't imagine Doug would fold behind. But I expect we'll see Farid in here. It's just a matter of, is it a call or an ISO?
I think if Farid called, Doug would fold, right? Or did you say Doug would call behind, or?
No, I think I was saying if Farid folded, Doug would call behind.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We are going to see a call from Farid, and Doug a little bit of a sigh here.
I think this is an easy fold for Doug. This is for 20% of his stack, so it's not a small jam.
Yeah.
So Andrew going to be all in and at risk with the ace-4. Farid makes the call with the ace-jack. You can see 72% chance for Farid to take chips. And we'll go to a flop with Andrew all in and at risk.
Diamonds.
10-5-2, no diamonds for Porter, but a wheel draw, so a 3 or a 4. 7 of hearts in the turn, also no help, so it's still just the 3 or the 4. Some 10 on the river doesn't do anything for us here. Andrew is going to go out in 10th place.
Yeah, good game to Andrew. And I believe we had an elimination before that, too. So we are down to our final 9, I think.
We are down to our final 9. Andrew out in 10th place for 18,370. We are going to be going on a break. We're going to be setting up. It looks like they're going to take the players to a break. We're also going to come back to a final table of 9 when we return. It looks like it's going to be about a 27 minute break. We'll be back here at the Borgata Casino Hotel and Spa in Atlantic City, New Jersey to continue action today, playing down to our final 6 of the Borgata Spring Poker Open powered by BetMGM's main event championship. I'm Matt McNeil Whitesmith with David Two-Flame Canane and Jordy Sanchez. We will return in about 27 minutes.
All right, everyone, the button has been drawn to seat 5. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, everyone.
seeing your third Vegas sunrise in a row. Proving you're right, or giving it to your friend who's always wrong. Meeting your hero?
What's up, fellas?
Legendary. Or meeting someone else's hero. Hitting a jackpot from your subway seat. Or how about this? Front row seats. A story you'll tell for the rest of your lives. Or a secret spot that you'll tell everyone about tomorrow. Whatever makes it legendary for you, it can all happen here. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
All right, everyone, the button has been drawn to seat 5. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, everyone.
Legendary. It's seeing your third Vegas sunrise in a row. Proving you're right, or giving it to your friend who's always wrong. Meeting your hero?
What's up, fellas?
Legendary. Or meeting someone else's hero. Hitting a jackpot from your subway seat. Or how about this? Front row seats. A story you'll tell for the rest of your lives. Or a secret spot that you'll tell everyone about tomorrow. Whatever makes it legendary for you, it can all happen here. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
All right, everyone, the button has been drawn to seat 5. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, everyone.
Legendary. It's seeing your third Vegas sunrise in a row. Proving you're right, or giving it to your friend who's always wrong. Meeting your hero?
What's up, fellas?
Legendary. Or meeting someone else's hero. Hitting a jackpot from your subway seat. Or how about this? Front row seats. A story you'll tell for the rest of your lives. Or a secret spot that you'll tell everyone about tomorrow. Whatever makes it legendary for you, it can all happen here. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
All right, everyone, the button has been drawn to seat 5. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, everyone.
Legendary. It's seeing your third Vegas sunrise in a row. Proving you're right, or giving it to your friend who's always wrong. Meeting your hero?
What's up, fellas?
Legendary. Or meeting someone else's hero. Hitting a jackpot from your subway seat. Or how about this? Front row seats. A story you'll tell for the rest of your lives. Or a secret spot that you'll tell everyone about tomorrow. Whatever makes it legendary for you, it can all happen here. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
All right, everyone, the button has been drawn to seat 5. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, everyone.
Legendary. It's seeing your third Vegas sunrise in a row. Proving you're right, or giving it to your friend who's always wrong. Meeting your hero?
What's up, fellas?
Legendary. Or meeting someone else's hero. Hitting a jackpot from your subway seat. Or how about this? Front row seats. A story you'll tell for the rest of your lives. or a secret spot that you'll tell everyone about tomorrow. Whatever makes it legendary for you, it can all happen here. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
All right, everyone, the button has been drawn to seat 5. Dealers, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, everyone.
You just got to bust somebody, then steal their money. Kind of like a bounty for you.
Welcome back to the Borgata Spring Poker Open Championship. We have our final table, our final 9 players out of the nearly 600 that have entered this tournament.
Probably just for the cameras, I'm guessing.
We have joined into one table. You'll be playing down till 6 players remaining tonight. And you can see the stacks here where we're going to see a lot of playability. Everyone is relatively deep, shortest stack around 30 big blinds. The average stack probably closer to 60 big blinds. I mean, Jordy, we're going to get some action here, I think.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of great post-flop playability here.
Yeah, not like a standard final table where the average stack is closer to maybe 20 big blinds and you're just getting a lot of pre-flop raises and jamming and not seeing a lot of post-flop action, but every single player at this table relatively deep and able to play.
Yeah, for someone who mostly plays online, I can see the attraction to playing these live tournaments. These main events are great.
Right, yeah. Part of the benefit of having 90-minute levels as such.
Yeah.
You get to see some new players who were not on the previous table we had.
I could only dream of having 100 BBs in a final table like this.
I know, it's a dream. But imagine having 100 BBs and there's like 3 other players that have like 80 to 90. It's like kind of scary, right?
It is a little scary. People are going to have to be really cautious going forward here.
Yeah. As I alluded to earlier, shortest stack, roughly 30 big blinds. So not a ton of pressure, at least for a lot of the middling stacks. Ricardo, I believe, is the one operating off the shortest.
Everybody's going to get 6 more time banks right now.
Oh, my Lord.
That's nice.
You always do it.
Yep.
We were talking about that before break, whether or not they were going to get time banks. Some people were running low, and sounds like they got 6 more each.
I had a couple really tough spots.
Some more time to think about things.
The 8's hand I used too.
Yeah.
Raise to 80,000.
Hello and welcome back to the final table, the final 9 of the Borgata Spring Poker Open here in 2026. We are returning from a break with, again, consolidating down to our final 9 players. We'll be playing down to 6 today and returning tomorrow for a final table stream here at the Borgata Casino Hotel and Spa in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm Matt McNeil, Whitesmith the Blacksmith. We have Jordy Sanchez returning with us for a little bit, and we have a new guest for a short stretch during this run of cards. We have Chris from the BetMGM Poker Team's Poker Strategy Department, and also formerly of Gaming Integrity. Chris, welcome in.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. Happy to provide any insight I can from BetMGM side or just the poker side in general. It's having done these events for a long time, it's cool to jump on this side for a little bit.
Yeah, we were bugging you and a few other people from the team to try and get you on here, and it's good to have someone from behind the curtains a little bit. We'll certainly get some questions in the chat around again, your role here, the BetMGM team, the productions that are going on. Yep. We'll caveat in advance that there's going to be some things that he's not able to answer.
Yep.
And we'll do that as we continue action as well here at the final 9. We'll get some introductions for the team. We had a small production. You had a couple monitors that had gone out on our end, so we were a little bit behind on returning back from the stream on our end. And we'll get some introductions for our final table, many of them returning from our previous table, as well as adding in the other table here for the action. We have, we have Doug Klevitz, who was on our table earlier, in a hand here with Albanian Sal. We see Doug with the bottom 2 pair, Albanian Sal, pre-flop aggressor, C-bet of 65,000 into the pot here.
Raise to 175,000.
We are going to get a check raise from Doug here. And very, very common, knowing the bottom 2 is going to need a lot of protection on this kind of board. 2 hearts, a lot of draw opportunities. Very common to see the check raise here.
What are you going to do for the series with the baby? How are you going to...
And it's going to be good enough to take down the pot. Looks like Jordy may have stepped away. We'll see if we're going to have him back in. But we'll have David Two Flame Canane with us for a little bit as well. We'll see if how the extra spot works out here.
Yeah, I think Jordy's going to come back in a few, but I'll be hanging here.
So, Chris, how long have you been with the BetMGM poker team?
In total, about 3.5 years now.
And that was pretty much Gaming Integrity, and then now the Poker Strategy.
Yeah, I joined as a Gaming Integrity analyst, and more recently, kind of based on my previous experience in the poker world, goes back about 20+ years now, moving into more of a strategy and development role with the brand, and trying to take it to new heights, new levels. We're a big brand. We're looking to do big things, and what we're doing right now with these streams and everything is kind of just the tip of the iceberg.
Cool. And we've met a few times at some of these events, and you seem to be willing to mix it up and throw a few jabs to people that you know. Do you know anyone at our table here? We'll run through the list in just a sec as I get my seats in order. But we have Michael. I can't tell. I think it looks like Welke from Philadelphia. Apologize. Tough to see some of the handwriting, so apologize there. But Michael from
that's that Philadelphia style, what do you expect?
We have Todd Lewis in our 2-seat returning with us. Joe Foote back on the table. Was with us to start the day for just a moment. Got moved off the table for some balance. Back on the now final table. Albanian Sal is Siad. It looks like Siad, and I'm not going to try the last name because not a very, very good. I'm not very good with my pronunciations, and I don't want to butcher that. So just Albanian Sal.
Albanian Sal's fun enough to say. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, it's perfect.
We have Ricardo, and I lost when Jordy stepped away. I lost my my last name pronunciation, but we have Ricardo returning as well. Bobby Thomas, Farid Jattin, who was also with us a little bit earlier. We see Matt Zambanini has moved around the table and still continues with us from earlier today, and also Doug Klevitz, similarly from earlier today. Do you know any of the players on the table?
Personally, I do not. I've seen a bunch of them over the past couple of years at these events and stuff, gotten familiar with them in that regard, but personally, no. I've been kind of in and out as a player in the poker scene for the past number of years, you know, busy with other endeavors, so I kind of... The ones I know personally are more leaning into like the old school type of player. A lot of the East Coast guys from back in the day. So
fair enough. Well, again, as we did get around the table here, we'll see we have the chip counts in front. We have 9 players now. We're playing down to 6. Taking a look through. We saw a couple comments, a couple of, looks like Albanian Sal has some fans in the chat as well. We had a comment here about the microphone. It looks like the production crew came in and yelled at you as well, Chris, to keep the mic close so we can hear what you have to say.
I'm a bit of a low talker generally, so.
The opposite of me. I've been yelled at a few times for being too loud here on the streams.
We're quite the yin and yang here. You're only going to get half of a commentary.
But yeah, so welcome to the new players at the table. Chris, again, from the BetMGM team with us for a little bit today. And we do want to open up into the comments. It looks like we have a few hundred people joining us right now, and we'll keep an eye here. But if you have any questions, and again, we'll be somewhat limited, you know, in terms of what Chris will be able to share, but around the BetMGM poker team, prior role with gaming integrity, upcoming poker strategy, you know, the shift into the poker strategy role, just kind of any questions around the BetMGM poker setup and brand as a whole. We do have Chris with us for a little while and a chance to get some insight from the team itself as we watch our final 9 here play for what will get up to about $250,000 for first place. They've locked up $23,000. So we have a good guest and some what we expect to be some good play.
Yeah, some early chatter at this final table too. Relaxed vibes despite playing for a top prize of 250K.
I see in the comments Mike Walker, and we had him on stream briefly earlier in the week, I believe. I believe he moved into our stream near the end of the night last night. And having actually seen the face, having seen the cameras pan around, I did get a chance to see that, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense with what we're seeing here with Mike Walker. It certainly lines up with what we had earlier here in the stream. Just with the delays, it can sometimes be a little bit tough. They were on a just under 30-minute break. We didn't get a chance to catch them. We were on a 30-minute delay. You know, so we are watching 30 minutes after. We did not get a chance to speak to the players to get those confirmations. We'll see Ricardo here pick up an ace-king early position.
Yeah, and Ricardo operating off of the short stack despite having almost or over 30 big blinds himself.
Our blinds have gone up to 20,000 small blind, 40,000 big blind, 40,000 big blind ante, and again, our small stack, as mentioned, is over 1.4 million in chips going into the hand, over 30 big blinds.
Were those not the levels before our break?
I thought I guess we took the break going down to the feature table. We may not have a whole lot of time on this level then.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were at the 40,000 level beforehand.
We were getting the raises to 90,000. Yeah, that does make sense. We see the call behind by Bobby Thomas with the pair of 8s. And it's going to fold around to Joe and our big blind. Looks like we'll be going heads up to the flop here. Unless the 7-4 decides to come along here, but...
Yeah, the last one got a man, actually.
7-4, why not?
We are gonna get the three-way flop here. 7-4 from the big blind with Joe. Ricardo, ace, king offsuit. Bobby, the pair of eights. Queen, jack, 6, 2 spades. Ricardo holding the ace of spades. That's the only spade out of the three players' hands. And action's going to check to Ricardo here.
No, he folded, but he just had no.
Who will choose to check his option.
Like it actually factored into the way I played the hand.
Checks through a pair of sixes on the board now with the 6 of clubs on the turn.
Yeah, pretty strong ranges. Under the gun +1 open, under the gun +2 call. Ricardo likely going to be checking a lot of hands to Bobby.
The issue I have is, like I was saying earlier, like when we were down to 82, and
We're going to see the delayed C bet here from Ricardo. Looks like a small 105,000 chip bet here. About a third of the pot.
this is,
Ace of spades doing some nice things, blocking the flush draws that can call you. It's not going to deter Bobby, though.
Bobby going to peel here with the pair of eights. Joe going to get out of the way. We'll see a river here with Bobby in front with the pair of eights. Ricardo's taking the betting lead. And the 9 on the river gives Bobby the check mark, but with another card above his pair. We'll see if we get any more chips going in here.
Yeah, king 10 is a certainly likely hand in range.
It does go check, check. Bobby's going to take it down with the pair of eights.
I got 4.
And a 500,000, $500,000 chip pot goes to Bobby Thomas, bringing him up to about 3 million in chips, just shy of 3 million in chips. Ricardo, our short stack, but still 31 bigs behind. So a little hit, but very, very deep here as we continue with our 9. You mentioned that you were a player in addition to being on the BetMGM.
Correct.
Have you been on a stream table, feature table, anything like this yourself?
A stream feature table, no. However, when I was playing sort of like in a full-time capacity, I was on a TV show once where it's called Emerald's Table, where they get a group together and he like cooks food for you, and the theme of it was chips and dips. So for whatever reason, the casting people felt like, oh, that's a poker players eat chips and dip when they play their nightly home games. So I got cast to be in that, and it's kind of fun. It was an interesting experience, just chopping it up with Emerald while he's cooking us some like shrimp dip and whatnot. But
so this is a different world of yours where you're an actor and have been on shows that some of us may have heard of or seen.
Not necessarily an actor. I've worked as a stuntman for 13 or so years in film and television.
So what level of crazy are you from a scale of 1 to 10 to be a stuntman?
You don't got to be crazy. You just got to be, willing to do a few things. I got into it from, I have a martial arts background, and they had some casting call again for the Ninja Turtles remake, looking for some martial artists to come in and be foot soldiers and get their ass kicked for the movie. So I went in for the tryout.
You said hell yeah.
Yeah, I got brought onto that, and then it just kind of like spirals from there. You go from one project to the next, and then 13 years later, you just kind of waking up with a lot of aches and pains, and you start thinking like, damn, it's maybe it's time to get back into poker. So it doesn't hurt as much. It hurts a lot. It's a different kind of hurt for sure, but the physical hurt sometimes is, I'll take the emotional hurt of poker sometimes over you can only get hit by a car and fall down the stairs so many times,
We have Todd Lewis open the pair of 2s on the button. Albanian Sal going to defend the Queen 8 in a very sharp tracksuit here. Flop comes 2, 3, 4, so a set for Todd opening the 2s. 2 hearts on the board, no hearts in anyone's hand.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably not going to get much action if he decides to bet.
Well, we don't know too much of Albanian Sal's style. This could very easily be a big blind kind of board. Maybe a little bit on the low side for the big blind kind of board defend. We are just going to get a small C-bet. Well, I guess not a small C-bet, and a pretty quick fold from either the Salbanian, as we've seen in chat, or Albanian Sal.
Oh, Salbanian.
I like Salbanian. That's good, yeah. I like a good, clever nickname. It's better than Albanian Sal. Salbanian's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be a nice little chip up there for...
and it looks like the blinds are up as well to 50,000, 25,000 small blind, 50,000 big blind. Gonna lower the average just a little bit to closer to 50, but still plenty of playability for everybody. Small stack, 25 big blinds.
Yeah, and we had been set with 90-minute levels and a break after every level, but it looks like because we went up just before went to the final table just before the level did end and the blinds went up. It looks like they combined that break and the end of level break to get everyone prepped here for this featured table.
Makes sense.
And are just going to play through and not take that next break. Farid, our chip leader on our prior table, is the chip leader of the overall tournament, picking up the ace-king here, early position. Going to come in with the raise. Do 115,000.
Funny thing is, in that tournament, my back actually went out on day 2. And I just hired one of the massage girls for 3 days.
It's going to fold to Ricardo in the big blind with a suited king-8 of hearts. And this is enough that we'll expect to see it defend here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, king is iffy because, you know, Farid raising, his range is probably pretty wide being the chip leader, but suited king out of the big blind is not a bad call for such a small raise.
1,200.
Ace, 9, 7 on the flop. Pair of aces for Farid. Just some backdoor options for Ricardo here. No hearts. It's going to check to Farid with the early position open. I expect we'll see a c-bet here in just a moment as he's counting out some chips. Like 205? And a very quick fold from Ricardo. Pot going to our chip leader Farid, who will chip up even more to a little over 4.2 million in chips.
Yeah, I like the big size there. Pretty dynamic board. Want to load up the money.
Yeah, protect your ace, and there's a lot of possibilities with the spades and the 9-7, the connectivity there.
Yeah, if you just throw in like a 1.5 big blind bet there, it's like really hard to get all the money in with your best aces, which is kind of the goal there. You only have 20 big blinds.
And Ricardo's still losing a few chips here, but we've seen him with different stack sizes throughout the stream today and last week in the 6 max. Came in with the large stacks on his left and navigated a very solid size stack, but not by any stretch the chip lead at a final table already down here at the Borgata Spring Poker Open, powered by BetMGM. Ricardo, I imagine, will be quite comfortable off that 20 big blind stack.
Yeah, I think 20s, you have a lot of play still. You're not in any sort of, fold or shove spots. There's still a lot of poker to play with 20 bigs.
Yeah, 90-minute levels too. You just have a lot of time to try to get there.
And we've been shorthanded at the tables as the numbers have dwindled of our remaining contestants today. But getting to the final table, we're back to a full 9-person ring. So again, those blinds come around a little bit less often as well. Just kind of, again, those same stacks just don't get hit quite as hard. Full table, 90-minute levels, blinds aren't going up quite as much.
Right.
Plenty of playability for Ricardo. And one double for Ricardo, and he's very, very healthy again, right in the mix.
Oh, yeah. That's what's tough, too, about when you're at that 20 big blind stack, when you shove, even the big stacks have to kind of give you a little bit of respect because either A, you chip up nicely to where you're going to be a real problem, or B, you're taking a hit to your stack.
Yeah.
20 bigs is a decent amount, especially if you're sitting chip leader with 80 or so bigs. That's a big hit.
Sounds like you know what you're talking about in the poker world a little bit. Been around this game for a year or two. You should maybe work for someone in the industry.
I remember the days when everybody anteed, and you'd have to calculate what is your M back in the day. So it's always interesting to watch the evolution of the game.
Dating yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I know, but what are you gonna do?
The shot clocks too, another part of the game that's relatively new.
I like the shot clock.
Yeah.
there's so many times. Obviously, you have to Hollywood and play it up a little bit, but there's times where you're at the table and you're just, come on, man. You know what you're doing. Let's just fold.
Yeah, I definitely think it helps speed up the action. I think it
100%.
does create sometimes some incentives, especially at final tables, where you kind of always want to take your time and make your decision around like 5 seconds left or something. But I think for the most part, it does speed up the action, and it's a pretty good thing for poker.
We're going to see Joe Foote come in here with the ace-5 suited for a raise. It's going to fold to Ricardo on the button and those 21 big blinds. It looks like we're getting all in with the ace-queen. Going to fold back to Joe Foote, who is not going to like that. We'll get a count, I'm sure, just to make sure numbers line up. But the ace-5, a very, very clear open with the suited ace-5, and not something that's gonna want to call 20 big blinds in this spot too often. But we don't know Joe very well. We saw Joe again first thing today at the beginning of the stream table, but left the table very quickly due to knockouts on other tables and just balancing of players.
Gotcha, yeah. Maybe a little bit of Hollywooding at the start of the FT to make it seem like you're not opening too wide.
Yep. And to the point with the shot clocks, we touched base on this a little bit yesterday with different people in the booth. My comment was, if you're going to have to try to combat people taking too much time, acknowledge that people will take a little bit of time and put a restriction, kind of put a cap on it. And I really like the way they do that with the shot clock and the time banks. I don't know what the appropriate number is, but we see 20 seconds for the first action, 30 seconds for subsequent actions and the extensions. Do we think that that's the good number here? Do we think that maybe at a final table, when you're playing for as much as $250,000, do we want to maybe give a little bit more time, or do we think that's appropriate?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I think it's one of those things where we have to see enough final tables happen and kind of, get the sample size as to what the appropriate time is. But I feel like you know where you're at most of the time in hands for the most part, and you've already kind of thought out the different things that are going to happen when the turn comes, when the river comes. That's why sometimes I'm like, you can't be taking this long on the river. Like, you must have thought what's going to happen if this card comes out and he does this before it even happened already. So how are we in the tank for 2-3 minutes?
Yeah, I am sympathetic to some of the final table decisions that are, especially the pre-flop kind of first to act decisions.
For sure.
Because they are worth a decent chunk of money. So maybe 20 seconds is a little bit short, but I don't think it's that much of a difference from whatever other shot clocks are doing. Like, I think 25 is the longest I've seen, but...
Well, we see Mike Walker open the ace-queen here. Farid with pair of 4s in the small blind, going to make a call. And we saw Farid with time chips there, so we weren't sure if they were going to get a replenishment as we got to the final table. We definitely have that confirmed, as Farid had used those earlier.
Yeah, they got 6 each, I believe, at the start of the final table before you hopped in.
To go along with what they had with them earlier in the day, it looks like.
Yeah.
We're going to go 3-way to the flop here. Matt Zambanini also defending the big blind with the queen 10, ace 9-2, rainbow flop, easy flop for Mike here, not a whole lot of danger, and we expect we'll get some chips going in here and 2 quick folds, I would think. Choosing a small size here, multi-way, 110, just a little over a quarter pot. And as I said earlier, what we would expect, Farid hasn't always done that. We've seen aggressive lines from Farid a few times. So I might be wrong, but we do see the fold from Farid.
Yeah, he was thinking about it, but just with somebody to act behind, it gets a little bit dicey.
Yeah, I mean, Mike doesn't have to go too high with the bet. I mean, it's nothing out there is scary, so.
You find out pretty quickly where you're at.
Yeah.
It was sad about it. They had just gotten to like a
Another thing, too, about the shot clock is it's a tough spot because not all hand thought processes are created equally. If you're thinking in a whatever mid-sized pot versus you're thinking for your tournament life, it's 2 very different things. Obviously, you want to give you more time if you're thinking, this is the end of your tournament or not, versus, do I call this half-pot bet that's not going to, like, destroy me, so to speak.
Right, yeah. I think that's what the flexibility with your own time chips is so important there. You can kind of make your own decision for where you want to invest that time.
Yeah.
Ooh, looks down under the gun. Mike Walker gonna take a look here and like what he sees. 2 black aces, ace of spades and ace of clubs for Mike here.
He was cheesing hard before it. Now he's locked in.
That wasn't a Hollywood. Hadn't seen the cards. We saw them because of the box on the table. We're gonna see the raise to 115,000 from Mike here, off of about 60 big blinds. Mystery hand here from Ricardo. Doing some counting. Gonna be a call. We see the cards on the box. We haven't gotten the pickup from them yet. So we'll have a little bit of a mystery hand from Ricardo here in the hijack.
Yeah, and Ricardo is calling off of the shortest stack. This is going to be a relatively tight range, right?
Yeah, we've seen a good bit from Ricardo, and I think we saw a trapped flat or two. I think we've seen Ricardo. I know that Ricardo has slow played aces and trapped with aces before. I find that unlikely considering Mike's stack and his relative position depth, and that it's an under the gun open. But I'm really curious to see what Ricardo has when the graphic does catch up here.
Yeah, it's big stack under the gun opening into another big stack in the big blind. Like, calling in middle position is not a something you want to do with some light hands.
The king 6-4 flop, 2 spades. Mike with the ace of spades with his aces. Going to bet 125,000.
I'm going to take a shot and say he's got 7s.
I'm going to go 7s?
Or like a queen jack suited or something.
Okay. Okay. We're going to see a call from Ricardo. There's a jack, so if he has the queen jack suited, would be picking up the pair. 7s would still be in trouble. We don't quite know yet. We'll see where this takes us.
I think that's kind of in the right ballpark of hand, though. I was going to say 9s probably or something like that.
King jack suited could certainly be in that same range.
If I'm wrong, I hope we just never see what he has. So
nobody knows. We're going to see the second barrel here from Mike. 275. Again, not sizing up too much, but still getting it to a number. If Ricardo makes the call here, Mike doesn't need to go much bigger to have it be a pretty comfortable and standard all-in bet on the river here. Ricardo is going to get out of the way. Doesn't look like we are going to get a chance to see if you're right or wrong. So I think that 7s, 9s, something in that range does make a lot of sense. And we'll continue here, 9-handed. Ricardo's still very healthy, 21 big blinds, even after taking a small hit.
Sounds like it.
They do it every time.
It's no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all.
What are you doing with 7s or 9s there?
$1
pre-flop.
No.
I would think
the value is the screen.
I think you could probably fold 7s and even 8s fairly comfortably. I wouldn't even be surprised if you can fold 9s there fairly comfortably, but
I don't know if it'd be comfortable, but
I mean you're 9-handed at a final table. It's just like, early position versus a huge stack in the big blind as well. They're not going to be opening super wide.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems like a dicey proposition.
Joe Foote picking up the king jack here under the gun 1, bringing in some raising chips. Up to that 115,000. Interesting to see what numbers people choose, and it looks like some people are kind of choosing the same numbers with this just over min raise. Bobby Thomas with the king 10 of diamonds in the hijack. Bringing out some calling chips, that looks.
Yeah, these guys are pretty deep. Calling makes a lot of sense.
Farid gonna lay down the ace and fold over to our blinds here. And a queen jack off in the big blind for Mike. With the early position open and a flat, this shrinks a little bit. Looks like we're gonna go 3-handed to the flop. Mike does make the call. You can see the percentages next to the name as it currently stands, which should include any cards folded as well. 8-4-2 rainbow board. There are backdoor diamonds for Bobby. No pair for anybody. The king-jack high for Joe Foote currently in the lead. And we'll see if the pre-flop aggressor continues to choose the aggressive line. We get 125K c-bet. Just over a quarter pot.
Yeah, and Bobby with positions going to continue with the 2 overs and diamond backdoors.
Turn 4 of spades, no improvement. Not a great card for Joe. Bobby in position here. Could have the ability to steal this pot. We'll see how this goes here if Joe decides to continue the aggressive line.
I was really hoping Mike was going to find a check raise there on the flop.
That would have been a fun squeeze.
It
check
would have
raise.
been, yeah. And I feel like it would have been one you kind of have to respect, too.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Joe continues firing for a bigger size here, 375.
Yeah, we do get the second bullet, and that is going to be enough to take it down. Bobby steps aside. Joe picks up a nice little pot here, up to about 3.3 million in chips, and again, very, very nice start to his return to our feature table here at the Borgata Spring Poker Open Championship, powered by BetMGM Poker.
Yeah, as we said earlier, playing down to the final 6 players, and take a look at the stacks. There's the final 3 players at the bottom there are relatively deep, so we're nowhere near the end of this action.
As long as we don't get any really bad coolers. We saw, I think, some aces versus kings on stream yesterday. As long as we don't get anything like that, any set on set, whatever it may be, we are in for the long haul here.
Yeah, you're going to be here a while, Whitesmith.
Hey, we're here at the Borgata, and I'll be here for a little while after we finish. You might meet me over on one of the craps tables, or at a maybe B-bar in the middle of the casino, and
nice.
We'll be here for the long haul today, and back again tomorrow for the conclusion here. Matthew Zambanini with the 10-8 offsuit from the cutoff. With some raising chips, looks like 110,000.
I was just going to say, no one's really been opening it up that light yet.
Yeah.
Well, we saw in the first stretch with Matt that he found a flat small blind back jam against a 3-bet squeeze from Farid in the big blind with a king 4 suited earlier. So we've seen some willingness to mix it up outside of top of range from Mr. Zambanini.
Yeah.
A former champion of this exact tournament, believed back in January.
Mike senses the weakness of the open and immediately attacks with the 7-6 suited. I actually do think I like this 3-bet. They're 40 big blinds deep or over that. You can have some post-flop playability there. Just want to make sure you have board coverage in those 3-bet pots.
Yeah, a deep enough table that we're going to get these types of hands and hopefully a lot of interesting pots to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 3-bet as well. When I was about to make the comment about I haven't seen anybody open up light yet, Zambanini just kind of made that, you just saw it in his face and his body like he was about to do something, and I think if I noticed it, you know.
Yeah.
Not to give anything away on stream, I'm just saying.
We get
also
to
saw
see the cards. We get to see the cards.
Correct, but
yeah,
he just had that, like, you know, that way about him.
You can see here the change in chip count as we've been on the table. Doug Klevitz and Ricardo both picking up some chips as we've been here. I believe Matt Zambanini had the one double, and Siad is Salbanian Al, the Salbanian, if you will.
Right. Okay.
I like the Salbanian.
Yeah.
That's a hard name.
Yeah, that's a yeah. You can understand why I'm shying away from mispronouncing someone's name on a stream. I didn't get a chance. Like, so Farid Jattin, I got a chance to get the pronunciation from Farid.
Right.
The Salbanian, I did not get a chance to get the proper pronunciation. So I'll apologize to our friend here, again, in the sharp tracksuit for not even attempting the last name.
Listen, man, some people give themselves their own nicknames. So when the guy on stream gives you the name this Albanian, you run with it.
That was in the chat. I got that from the chat. I'm assuming friends
job,
and family. I'm assuming friends and family. Bobby Thomas with the ace-king here. 52 big blinds. Going to be coming in for a raise.
115,000.
Rishi Curry in the pot in the chat asking me to try to pronounce Ricardo's last name, and I'm not taking that bait. I've had some fun joking with Ricardo as well around that outside of the table, so I'll tap in Mr. Two Flame or Chris for that if we're gonna try to pronounce the last name. But yeah, that's one that I know that I butcher, so
I'll sit out on this one.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic, so I'm not even gonna.
So we're going by Ricardo.
Yeah.
No resistance for Bobby. Going to pick up the pot with the ace-king open there.
Oh, he looked at it before he pulled it. He wanted to see it one last time.
One of the prettiest things I've seen so far.
Yeah.
I didn't even look before you. So I'm not looking. I had a feeling.
It's impressive.
Farid saying you didn't even look at his cards.
Friendly banter on the table. Looks like we have a few characters that have had some fun on these tables so far today, and like seeing friendly banter in these spots.
Yes,
I know we're playing for a lot of money, but they've also locked up a lot of money, and you know, it's not too often you get a chance to be under the bright lights here on a streamed final table. So hoping that they get a chance to enjoy themselves.
Yes, Albanian was talking about the horse racing earlier. It didn't get a lot of action in response.
Well, right after the ace-king, Bobby, the very, very next hand, picks up two red aces, the ace of hearts, ace of diamonds, for probably, I'd say, the best hand you could take a look at, you know, and see the pocket aces. And
yeah, probably.
Probably.
So he's I don't know if he's a camel. I don't understand what's going on.
Hydration.
I'll take one if you have one.
And similarly, no resistance for Bobby. It looks like we're going to get a show of the hands right afterwards.
First time was ace-king suited.
Have you ever not shown it when everybody folds to your aces?
Yeah, absolutely. But in this case, like, everyone's going to see it anyways. So you might benefit if you're looking for that tighter image. You might benefit from showing early as opposed to making people wait. But we've seen a lot of people willing to show hands when they're on these tables because they know that people are going to see it anyways.
Yep.
The only benefit you're going to get is the 30 minutes that you can potentially use your image in a slightly different way, or if somebody's not going to check the stream.
He is number 2.
But yeah, if the knowledge is going to be out there, then why not have some fun?
And it was also
It's
confirmed.
certainly possible that they can hear me anyways as loud as you guys laughed a little too quickly at that one.
Well, luckily we're angled the other way this time. I think the day one for the first stream, they could hear us a lot more clearly.
See Mike Walker coming in with the 10-8 of spades for a raise here. And this is off of just shy of 75 big blinds. Going to fold to Ricardo in the big blind with the ace-5. And again, 19, just under 20 bigs, just under 19 big blinds behind here. We see the call. We're going to see a flop heads up here.
The MGM Potomac. I know
So I guess 10-8 is the open light threshold.
I don't know. It's early. We might see a little bit more. We saw the 3-bet from Matt with the 6-4.
Right. Off of the Zambanini open with 10-8.
No, Zambanini 3-bet the 6-4 earlier.
Oh, right.
3-bet a 6-4 earlier.
Yeah, the 10-8 suited here seems a little bit more standard from the hijack as a big stack. I imagine he could even open 10-7.
King, Queen, 2 board. No help for anybody as C-bet takes it down for Mike Walker. And that'll push Mike up over 3.6 million in chips. And closing the gap between himself and Farid for the chip lead here at the final table of the main event at the Borgata Spring Poker Open.
What you doing? You're left here?
I won that one.
Oh, you won.
Do we have an idea of what time the stream for the rest of the final table starts tomorrow?
Yeah, heads up.
I think it'll depend a little bit on how deep into the night we may go today. Since we're playing down to 6, we could be done in an hour. We could be done in 20 minutes.
Right.
But with how deep the stacks are, we could be in here for a while. So if we go pretty late into the night for some reason, they might push the start back a little bit. But I expect we'll be looking around 12 to 12:15 start for play, 12:30 to 12:45 for the stream.
Awesome, yeah.
We'll see if we can get that confirmed in just a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense if to give the players some time to sleep if it finishes late, push it back. Very considerate of Borgata.
While we see the raise from Doug here, while we were talking, I believe they're discussing Matt Zambanini's title in January in this event on the table.
Yeah, people are definitely figuring out he's a capable player. I'm sure that King 4 suited hand is has hit them. They can see the cards up.
Yeah, and we have it looks to be some level of chatter from Farid. He was pretty quiet earlier today. We don't have any of the incredibly outgoing personalities, it seems, that we've had on a few streams and a few of the final tables. At least to this point just yet. It might also be that we're 9-handed and we're playing for $250,000. That might factor into it as well. But definitely some friendly banter so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that friendly banter kind of just speaks to how fun making a live run is. You know, you kind of have that camaraderie with a lot of the other people who you've played with in the future tables or the other ones beforehand, and you make it here. It's a fun environment, but yeah, it's pretty easy to slip the mind that you're playing for $250K. Some pretty high-stakes decisions being made here.
Joe McKeon was.
Looks like we have
the commentator for the final table. I like Joe. I get along with him. And I heard.
Oh, that was the fall, not January. Because I did the final table with Joe in the fall. Yeah.
I told him.
It was the fall, not January.
People are texting me. They're like, "This is the funniest thing I ever saw."
Yeah, Matt and Joe had some back and forth banter on that one.
Did you win? That's all that matters if you won.
That's it. I won.
But see, in the chat, it looks like some family and friends chiming in. We see what looks to be Todd Lewis's son. Do want to acknowledge as we can. Yeah, we're not watching chat the entire time. Albanian Sal with the all-in here.
I love this.
Or all-in to call over the 3-bet from Farid. It's a good jam from Farid. Going to chip up a little bit here. And the Salbanian down to 1.3 million.
It was like unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely a good hand to jam. You just fold out so many better hands. Pretty easy to clear. You have decent equity when you get called.
And the one follow-up on the one thing I saw is for anyone who is in the room, we'll ask please not to include any action that hasn't hit the stream yet. We're watching on a 30-minute delay, so the feed coming to us is 30 minutes after the action. It gets presented through the BetMGM YouTube channel very shortly after we see it, after we speak to it. But we are on a 30-minute delay, so if anyone is in the room, please do not spoil and make comment to any hands that have not reached the stream just yet. It is something that is done for Chris, as you would know, gaming integrity purposes. And we'll loop that back over to that piece of your prior roll. In terms of something like our setup here, how much of that would come across your desk? Do you have to check? Would you have had to check off basically every piece of this and confirm that everything's in compliance?
There are things that we check. We look into a lot of the gameplay and hand histories and things like that. I can't go too deep into what exactly we do, process and procedures, but I can tell you that literally, like, everything is checked, no stone unturned type of deal to make sure that everything is always on the up and up, especially too when you get the hybrid final table. We kind of take a look at the tournament as a whole, make sure everyone that got there was done clean, all that kind of thing, and so far, we've never run into any issues. We have a great system. You know, a lot of other sites have had their issues. We have not. We have a lot of tools in place. We have a lot of great minds behind the scenes that are looking at things, former professional poker players, things like that. So we're very heavily on top of things. And there's a lot of deep dive investigations, a lot of put our heads together on things. So it's I like to say we don't miss anything, you know. And I think our reputation really speaks for itself. You've never seen on social media or anywhere else issues with BetMGM's game security or anything like that. So it's something that we're very, very proud of.
Yeah, it's nice to hear from the player side. I feel like we have a lot of confidence just because we are participating in the more regulated markets that the process is going to be good. But we often don't often hear information about the gaming integrity, you know, systems that they have or whatever they go through. So hearing that you guys are spending a lot of time and reviewing all that's very nice to hear.
Yeah, we're deep in the weeds on literally everything.
As we saw there, a 3-bet with the jacks got Matt Zambanini's 9s to fold off of kind of an awkward stack depth to be facing a 3-bet there. And a nice little chip up while we were mentioning that. Don't want to ignore the action there. But with the gaming integrity side of things, do you have any say in these stream setups?
That we do not. So I mean, we're strictly looking for the online gameplay stuff. The live setups is something we don't touch. Kind of an interesting story from just years ago in the way these live things are set up right now, like how we're right here behind a curtain. I used to work for the Deep Stacks Poker Tour, and we had our World Championship event at Mohegan Sun. It was televised final table. And it was myself and another gentleman locked in a room with security out front, and we were transcribing. We had access to the whole card cams, and we were literally transcribing, like, okay, he's got these cards, he bet this much, into a notebook that then went to the production team before they put it together the final edit. But it was like, eat now, go to the bathroom now, because once you go in the room, you can't come out. And there's security. Yeah, it was crazy. It's such a different time than it is now.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's like I said before, it's just interesting to see the evolution of things.
Hold on 1 sec here.
Wow.
Bobby raises with the pocket 10s from the cutoff, Bobby Thomas. Matt Zambanini 3-bets from the small blind with what looks to be the Jack-4 offsuit to 425,000 here, a little over 8 big blinds.
I mean, I would regret not saying how much of a coincidence it is to talk about the gaming integrity at live streams, and we see the Jack-4 off 3-bet right here.
And a very, very quick fold to the all-in. Bobby Thomas chipping up again. It's like a little over 3.2 million, 3.25 million chips for Bobby Thomas. And Matt Zambanini at 1.5. It feels like the chips have been going the wrong direction a little bit for him, but he's still on 30 big blinds. That's how good it is to be this deep. We get a chance to see players mix it up a little bit. We get a chance to see a little bit more creativity, and we've seen some of those work well for him. That one not quite working out for Matt, but we get a chance to see some of these fun plays that when the average stack is shorter, we don't get a chance.
Yeah, I think people are going to be willing to fight back a little bit more versus Matt after seeing the King 4 suited 3-bet, and especially now once that hand gets shown to the broadcast, I imagine they'll start to try to keep him in check more.
I got scared.
I think the 6-4, the King 4, now the Jack 4. Maybe it's the 4s. We see the Salbanian right here raising with the pair of jacks.
You sure?
3-bet.
Sure folds.
Whoa. Queens for Matt off of 30 big blinds.
Matt Zambanini picking up the queens on the button. And this is where seeing some of those hands could very, very much benefit him. Because we already saw a 6-4 of clubs from the button from Matt. We're now seeing the queens 3-betting from the button against another small stack, and it can be very, very tough if you've seen any of the history for the Salbanian to get away from this. I think we're going to see an all-in right here and a call.
Yeah, if he was paying attention to some of the streamed hands hitting the live, then yeah, I think he's just going to blast this back in. I wouldn't blame him for it.
Really, really unfortunate spot here, considering the activity levels from Mr. Zambanini.
Yeah, he just 3-bet the previous hand, so it could look like he just started to open it up. You know, you're not going to necessarily think right away queens, kings, aces type of deal.
We get the all-in and the call, and Sal going to see some bad news here, and we're going to be all-in, and it looks like Matt covers Sal by about 5 big blinds, so Sal will be all-in and at risk with the jacks behind the pocket queens of Matt Zambanini.
Yeah, quite the cooler to potentially kick off the first all-in of this FT.
I believe we have at least one jack out as well. I think we saw the jack 4 behind folded. Yep. The 6-5-3 does bring some straight possibilities on the board. 10 of hearts in the turn, no change here. Just going to be one jack. 5 of clubs not going to be enough. Sal, a fantastic run, gonna bow out of our final table here at the Borgata Spring Poker Open. In 9th place. 9th place going to be good enough for $23,225 for Sal. One hell of a run, a very nice score, and just a really rude way to get just basically dealt out of the tournament against one of the, by far, the most aggressive 3-better, and just happened to have it that time.
Yeah, very unfortunate spot. He played well and got himself a pretty solid payday, so good game to you, Sal.
And probably just lost our cleanest, our sharpest dressed participant in our final table here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how familiar you are with Stellantis, but they're a freaking disaster.
Ricardo's pretty sharp.
Yeah, definitely not knocking some of the others here. Ricardo, knowing that there's a good chance he was going to be back on stream, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what brand that sweatshirt was. I'm not tuned in, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
And I believe when we had Matt on in the fall, it was a similar T-shirt. So very much the comfort look for Mr. Zambanini.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm happy I made the dumb play that I made.
That's his version of the Phil Hemmings tracksuit. You got to have your style.
Right, yeah.
I think we just heard Matt discussing about, I'm happy about the dumb play that I made. Now coming back to pay him off, and a spot that if it had been someone else, if it they're deep enough, it had been someone else, we might have seen it played a little bit differently. But given the activity from Matt so far today, absolutely never a fault for Sal in that spot, and just a truly unfortunate cooler for him right there at this point of the tournament.
Yeah, it is kind of funny to think about how much that contributed to the 4-bet jam. The fact that he just 3-bet jam or 3-bet the hand right beforehand.
Yep.
Like probably earned himself a good amount of chips.
They used to come off the truck. Like you get a truckload of whatever, mixed batch, Cherokees, Grand Cherokees, whatever. You get 15 of them. 8 of them would have dead batters. And I mean dead.
They're EVs right now. They're buying them all back for like.
Oh, they're a disaster.
They're horrible. Yeah, and I drive an EV9. Like I love my electric car, like the Kia.
Well, the Jeep EV was a disaster.
They're all horrible.
The 4XCs.
Now they have the full one. They have like the Wagoneer EV.
Some car discussion in this hand. Doug likely just taking this down pre-flop.
We leased one out of the store because my wife always wanted a Wrangler.
Yeah, I like that open by Doug. He's been super quiet.
Like, I don't know. I want to say it was like
we saw Doug earlier
for $4 something a month.
And
yeah, but it was
just kind of flying under the radar a little bit. Seems to be a little bit on the quieter side at the table. Haven't heard a whole lot of the chatter, and very, very sneaky. Just bringing in pots, chipping up, and continuing here at the final table. A little bit under the radar. I mean, we've seen Farid mix it up early today. We've seen Matt very clearly mix it up more recently. Bobby Thomas has been mixing it up. Helps being dealt aces, ace, king, tens, a few other hands. And a few people flying under the radar here, and again, very, very deep for a lot of these stacks. Doug at 3.4 million chips, about 70 big blinds, and not for nothing. Like we've said his name a few times, but not a whole lot. Just kind of like sneaking under the radar with piles here at a final table.
Yeah, he's here to win, locked in, and only focused on himself.
We see Matt Zambanini with the Queen Jack coming in with the raise.
Pretty quick fold there. I think that might have been a hand you could potentially attack with.
Now, Joe Foote looks down at the ace-9 of clubs in the big blind.
Yeah, just super deep. I don't think you can do anything but call.
Well, you can do whatever you want, but we are going to see the call from Joe here. We're going to go heads up to a flop. Joe, a 60% favorite as we see a flop of Jack 10-7, 2 hearts, 1 club. Top pair, some backdoor flush and straight opportunities for Matt Zambanini here. Joe, the gut shot, backdoor club draw, and some backdoor higher end straight opportunities here. We're going to see a C-bet from just over a big and a half from Matt here. I don't think it's going to be enough for Joe to go anywhere.
Yeah, he's got to stick around, especially against Matt. But that, I don't know, that bet is like, please call me. The 9 on the turn makes this a very, very interactive board. Might just clear out some of those weak wheel aces, something along those lines. And now with the 9 on the turn, going to slow things down a little bit. Check, check. And 6 of diamonds on the river. The board here is not one that I think either of them are going to feel comfortable about putting too many chips in. It goes check.
Queen.
Yep, it goes check, check again here on the river. Matt Z going to take it down with the top pair.
Mind, but you're iffy sometimes.
You're iffy sometimes. I don't know what that means. Thinks he's going to get raised at some frequency?
You're
Or
ranked 4th at the table, so I don't...
Met by some laughter, and it sounds like there may be some history and some fun commentary going on there.
Everybody's dressed okay, hair's done. Me and you are the cream of the crop, but...
You're at a category of your own.
Farid saying that so we don't have to.
Somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, they're just happy to be around.
But I feel you. It's like a decent presence.
Yeah. You get to look at us both.
Yeah, exactly.
no one else chiming in to be the best dressed at the table.
Just trying to.
Get
These cards stink. I don't know what they're horrible.
Get a kings in the cutoff here for Mike Walker. And if any of the earlier action has gotten back to the table, we've seen Mike mixing it up with a few other hands, and he now picks up a premium with the Cowboys. And a late position Cowboys. Now Joe Foote with an ace-9 offsuit in the small blind. A hand of this depth can sometimes cause people to want to 3-bet. Joe just going to step aside here. Ricardo 6-5 in the big blind. Off of, what do we have, 15 bigs behind here?
Yeah, this is a pretty awkward spot, I would say.
It's just going to lay it down and look to choose a better spot here for Ricardo.
Yeah, it's like he's clearly the shortest stack, so a little bit less pressure on yourself. But I think the offsuit hands are a little bit difficult to continue there.
They were under nice areas.
Don't fault him for a fold.
Good cost of living. Very good cost of living.
I figured that.
Yeah, you could live like a king over there.
Yeah. You go with $1 million and you're like...
15 bigs, though, still plenty to work with.
Yeah.
It's still a shove range you have to respect, regardless of how big your stack is.
Absolutely getting a lot of shoves through if needed, and a number that if he calls and gets called and gets a double up. I mean,
look at the
right
separation,
there,
though. I mean, the bottom two are 15 and 29 big blinds, and then the next one's 63.
A really weird dynamic in that there is the ability to apply pressure, but every single one of the big stacks has to be careful because there's what, 5 stacks within 15, 20 bigs or so, and all of them among the larger stacks.
Yeah, this is one of like the deepest FTs I've maybe ever seen.
Well, you're also a baby, so
I'm also a child who's been playing poker for 2 years, so.
Yeah, we've got Chris over here talking about things from probably before you were born.
Oh yeah,
certainly. Yeah, what was it, the John Sin World Series victory that went to like 6 a.m. or something like that?
I couldn't tell you all of the histories of all of those. I've paid attention to many of them over the years, but my memory's not very good.
There was one, it might have been that one, where ESPN was like, all right, we can't do this 9-handed live anymore, and started going to the
You're right. In Miami.
Start at 9, then go to 3, then whatever it was. But yeah, it went to like 6 a.m. It was ridiculous.
Wow. Quite the polar opposite from the Mike Mizrachi, whatever. The like the 2-hour main event final table.
Yeah, that was a steamroll right there.
He had that lucky BetMGM patch on. That's what it was.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice little plug there.
Well, hey. Wherever I can get it in.
It seemed to work at the last series. I believe it was quite common that people were pretty lucky when they were wearing the Borgata hat at the FTs or the Borgata shirts.
We saw a whole bunch of the Borgata hats sitting on the table, the BetMGM poker hats sitting on the table. And it seems, have brought some success.
Yeah.
There's a science to it, believe it or not.
Is like
no one here employing it, though.
Always cheap, you know.
Yeah, that golf course there is gorgeous. Baywood Greens.
Like I have a good friend that lives in North Jersey, and like we have the same exact house, and his house was 2.2 million, mine was 650. Like,
same exact house.
Live an hour away from each other.
Just lift it and move it over.
My house is like ridiculous for like it's like So
Bobby Thomas with the look of someone who knows his way around a golf course.
Delaware,
yes.
Perked up when he heard talk of a golf course. I wish I knew the logos a little bit better, because I would be curious as to what course. Because I'm assuming that is a course shirt on Bobby, as we see the Masters green on Mike Walker.
I hadn't even noticed that beforehand, so timely cut.
I have a college roommate that's actually a greenskeeper at Augusta during the Masters.
That's fun.
Him and his dad both work in irrigation systems. So I've had the ability to get my hands on some Masters swag over the year.
Nice.
I haven't had a chance to make the trip down yet. That's certainly on the to-do list at some point. But I am curious what we have here with Bobby. Action's going to fold to Farid, who's going to walk Matt Z.
Not a big hand.
And Queen Jack's a good hand. I don't know about big hand.
You had a hand.
Did I just hear him say Ace Jack?
That's how you got to do it, man.
Yeah.
And then they see it on stream, it's like, no, they read it wrong.
Yeah. We had the comment in chat about the payouts, and you can see the pay table here. Zambanini and Al out in 9th for about 23K. Our remaining 8 players have locked up at least 28,500, playing for a first place prize of just shy of $250,000 here at the Borgata in Atlantic City. The 2026 Spring Poker Open, powered by BetMGM Poker, with an amazing payout structure here for winning almost $250,000 for what would end up being 4 days of work.
New York,
maybe 5, depending on how many of the day 1 flights people may have entered.
Yeah.
Very, very solid payday going right into the World Series of Poker in a couple weeks.
It's a big summer coming up, getting ready to get started.
You just got spooked by the horse guy here.
We are within earshot of the of a viewing area for a lot of horse racing, so you'll hear a little bit of that chatter in the background as the table brings that to our attention.
What it is too.
Sal maybe over there sweating the action. He mentioned the horse races earlier.
Delaware Park, my dad used to take me when I was a kid. We were there. You know how many times I got left there? 5, 6 years old? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, trying to see what that logo is. Can't make it out.
It's not something that I know. I can't tell you that I know courses very well. It's not something where I can quite see if there's anything that will give that away to me as well, just from the angles that we've gotten. But if anyone in chat does know Bobby Thomas's, what club Bobby Thomas is repping, why not? He's wearing it on stream. He chose to. We'll give that a shout out as well. Curious, big golf fan on my end. So
I'd be impressed if someone can snipe that.
Yeah. We're going to see a button raise from Farid Jattin here with the 8-5 of hearts. Good enough to push the 3 deuce into the muck and some chips over to Farid. Farid not as active with the full ring as we saw earlier when we had a shorter table. But you know, still
lot of
in the
times
chip
those-
lead,
listen,
over
he left me at Penn
4.2
State
million in
one
chips.
time From Delaware, that's 4.5 hours on a wrestling trip.
What, he left without you?
Yeah, he was nuts. You're Italian. You know? He was straight from Italy. Man. They didn't play games, buddy.
Oh, what, you didn't want to leave, so you just left it there?
No, wrestling tournament. Like I got beat. He got pissed off and left.
Wow.
I was 11 years old. Yeah. You survived on your own, man. That's how it was.
Right.
He was to the extreme, though. You know, but
A little story time.
He never put you in the trunk.
never put me in the trunk. Thankfully.
If you have a hatchback, he didn't go that far.
Joe Foote looking down at a pair of sevens here. Bringing out some raising chips. Look like we're going to see that 115 number from Joe.
That's the next level.
Next level.
They leave you there 4 hours and they pick you up and you got to go in the trunk.
That is next level.
Every time you say his name, it registers in my head as Joe the Foot.
Everything was the other way, like everybody thought, right? Like super soft. He just
We got to get nicknames for all these guys.
Yeah, so
You know, we had Zambanini, we have Joe the Foot, we've got Billy in the box. Shout out to our dealer. We're gonna get a.
Christmas Eve, my dad at 82 years
Is that a call from Doug in the small blind with the nines?
The last thing he said to me was shut up.
I'm gonna fold to Mike Walker in the big blind as well. Or excuse me, gonna be a fold from Mike Walker in the big blind. So we see the 5-4-2 board. Over pairs for both of our players here.
Yeah, very strong hands, but hard for a lot of money to get in, I would imagine. Like,
I mean, we'll see. We should see a c-bet to protect Joe's hand here.
Absolutely.
Doug will not be out of this hand, but I think both of them will have their guard up a little bit with the way this action will go. We see the bet here from Joe come out. 130 into 330, so a little over a third pot.
Like the last couple of weeks when we knew he was going to die, come in and bring him food, and you get mad and tell you to leave the room. Like, you know, like, yeah.
I do think a check raise is pretty nice here to get called by the ace highs that have a gut shot. But it's also very understandable to not want to play an inflated pot versus one of the other chip leaders.
Especially with Ricardo's chip stack compared to the table here. So we do just get the call from Doug in the small blind. And a 4 on the turn, brings in a heart draw, pairs the board, but shouldn't really change too much of the way they think about the hand unless you're thinking of like exactly an ace-4 suited kind of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not too many 4X will be flatting from the small blind, besides, yeah, king 4 suited maybe, ace 4.
Looks like we're going to get 195 from Joe here. 185.
And you can see kind of the tendency to lean towards playing a smaller pot. Both these bet sizes on the flop and turn relatively small.
It's good pot control.
Yeah.
It's you know, kind of choosing the number that he likes, and depending on the river here, the 8 of hearts on the river, I think we'll see a check, but crazier things have certainly happened.
Yeah, but lucky too.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't expect a lot of 8X to call you twice, besides maybe some 2-over stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we're thinking about an 8X. I mean, we do get the check. Pair of 9s is going to be good for Doug. 960,000 chip pot. It was a controlled pot, but it still got up to close to 1 million in chips.
I didn't love that 8.
I was just talking about this to someone else today.
It's tough to get fireworks when everyone's this deep, but also this so condensed with their stack sizes so close to each other.
Right.
We see Doug Klevitz chip up to 3.8 million, 77 big blinds, not far behind our chip leader Farid Jattin. Joe Foote a little bit of a hit, but still on 55 big blinds. So it's a little bit of a hit, but you know, we're still deep. There's so much flexibility to play here, and not anything that's even going to begin to raise major alarm bells on Joe's side. Excuse me, Joe the Foot. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, it feels like normally there's only, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 stacks at a final table that have 60 or above big blinds. So when there's so much more, I think there's a lot more room to potentially be aggressive and separate yourselves from the big stacks as the final table develops. Oftentimes the incentives when there aren't many big stacks is to play small ball poker, but I think when there's 5 stacks around 60 or plus, I think you can mix it up a little bit more.
Action folds to Farid in the hijack with 2 red 4s. We're going to see a raise. Looks to be that similar 115 number. Folds to Mike Walker in the small blind. Will lay down to Queen 8. Almost guaranteed that's a big blind defend from Mike. And Todd Lewis not going to mix it up with the mystery big blind hand, so a small pot for Farid.
It's really brutal, right?
I can't do it. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. I couldn't sleep. That's number 1 episode.
Well, the ventilation's real bad.
The oxygen. It just,
Yeah, I think one of the things that we want to look at as we're continuing here is they're talking about a little bit about the sleep and all of that. And one of the things we were talking about before about, there were some questions about playing through the night. There were some questions about, are we stopping at 6? Would people want to keep playing? How late are we going to go? What time are we going to start tomorrow? I think that, when you're in these multiple day events, and especially when we had a 10 1-hour levels yesterday with breaks, with a full dinner break, you get some of those long days and things like even just unwinding after some of those. If you were on a feature table, that adds a little extra adrenaline. If you're in a position where you have these long days, it's tough to unwind. Even here in the booth, I was up for a while afterwards just because you've been going. You've got the energy flowing. And, it can make for some even these long days become even longer, and the sleep can really kind of catch up to you over a few days.
Oh, yeah, especially in a big spot like this where you're just amped up. You're excited before the final table starts or before the day 3 starts. So I can understand being excited, kind of that Christmas morning energy. You don't want to sleep.
And even after you finish your 10-hour day, you can't not, go to your room and just think through so many different hands you played.
Yeah.
And be up another 2-3 hours just going over that.
We see an open from Farid, standard 115K that we've been seeing, a 3-bet from Matt to 335K. Joe the Foot in the big blind with an ace-queen off. And this is kind of an awkward spot for Joe. Out of position, the 2 most active players at our table I wouldn't say by far because Farid hasn't been as active. Very disciplined from Joe to not get himself into trouble. As we can see, Farid with the ace-king. But ace-queen off, out of position right there is a very easy one to get yourself into trouble with in this kind of spot.
Yeah, I like the fold there just because the early position open, I imagine. Although, Matt has clearly shown a lot of willingness to 3-bet light, and clearly the King 4 suited being shown and some of the other hands being shown, it's not deterring him. He decides to 3-bet the Jack 8 suited.
We'll get I'm assuming the Jack 4 will have come through the stream by now.
Probably, yeah.
And Farid, a few options here. This is the 2 of the biggest stacks at our table here. And this is a very, very strong hand, but not a hand that you always have to go for the 4-bet here. I expect out of position that we'll see it, but you will see people peeling this. Did I just hear all in?
All in.
We did just hear an all in here, and it's going to be a relatively quick fold from Matt. A little wry smile there, and
65 bigs. That's a lot of big blinds in the middle.
Just a moment of Hollywood from Matt, and to buy him that 30 minutes of, and there it goes.
New sheriff in town.
There we go.
Took Bobby's hat.
It's because of the clock, so that they can't sit there and make the time clock.
Our guy's having some fun out there. That's what we want to see.
Close your hair like that. You got nice hair.
I have a good head of hair. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
bastard.
This is my kind of table. Let's talk about hair.
5 seconds.
I wish I was in there.
I'm glad that I'm not. Well, I would love to be there because of the payouts, but not for the hair conversation.
There's maybe one person who I'd ask what shampoo and conditioner they use. Pretty obvious who.
Yeah, it would be me, and it would be because you see the bald spots coming through.
Hey, turkey's only a flight away, brother.
Hey.
You gotta get yourself some Dr. Groot for that. It helps the hair regrowth.
Dr. Groot.
Yeah. Breadman Rock promotes it on TikTok and Instagram.
I don't have a TikTok, and I have very, very little footprint on. Footprint was the word we're looking for on Instagram. We see very next hand here, right after the Jack-8 getting a little bit out of line. We get the open from Matt, and it is not out of line this time. We have the Ace-Queen of Hearts. Mike Walker win the cutoff with the Ace-Queen of Clubs. So 2 suited Ace-Queens.
Oh.
We're going to get just a flat here.
Yeah, I think I like that.
Playing a pot in position. It won't take much for a lot of chips to get in there depending on the board. But a little bit of control early, facing earlier position aggression. Ricardo in the big blind off of 11-12 bigs. The flat also opens up this squeeze opportunity for Ricardo.
Yeah.
Yeah, just getting an insane price to jam over the top. Going to be forcing the other players to call a lot worse hands.
Yeah, it's a good little trappy spot, and Ricardo just going to call. We're going to see a flop 3 ways. 2 ace-queens and a mystery hand. Jack 7-5, 2 diamonds on the board. No pairs for the hands we see. Backdoor clubs for Mike with the 7 of clubs on board.
Yeah, Ricardo being the shortest by such a wide margin, I believe the flatting range here from the big blind is going to be pretty wide and just willing to go with it as soon as he hits a little piece.
A lot of suited connectors, a lot of just kind of connectors in general, and this is very much a Ricardo board right now. We can't see his hand, and I like playing these mystery hands, but this feels like a good, and we see the chips, a good lead opportunity for Ricardo, because that's a board that if Mike had gotten a piece of multi-way, he's going to bet to defend.
Correct.
And so a very good, very, very astute observation from Ricardo here to put out the bet. A half pot, give or take, just over a smidge over half pot, it looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of intimidating. I imagine, I don't know, it feels hard to bluff rivers there, given that turn size.
Got a lot worse.
Given that your river jam's going to be like 30% pot or something.
A huge chip up for Ricardo here. Getting him just shy of that 20 big blind. With the rounding, we'll have the 20 big blinds here for Ricardo. It's a huge chip up right there, considering he was in the big blind, paying that big blind ante, and getting the multi-way pot takedown. It's a massive turn for him at this point of the tournament. Because if he's not in that hand or doesn't win that hand, you know, that's 6 big blinds away from his stack right here, and is very much in a danger zone, even a little bit more than 6 big blinds.
Mm-hmm.
A huge, huge chip up for Ricardo.
Yeah, that was a very smart bet for him on the turn there, because with what he had left behind, they both have to assume like it's going in on the river. And, you know, if you can't call this turn, you can't call that river. So.
Raise roughly 115.
Another mystery hand opening here under the gun for the chip leader, Farid.
Todd Lewis laying down the king 10 of diamonds in the cutoff. Kind of an awkward hand and awkward positioning for that hand. One of those we'd certainly love to see a flop, but against the under the gun open from the chip leader with a lot of action behind, including the small stack, which again would have set up a pretty good squeeze scenario. A disciplined fold, a very, very I wouldn't say 100% standard fold, but a very, very common fold in that spot.
Yeah, I don't really blame him being roughly 27 big blinds effective. It's kind of right in the range where the flat calling starts to, shift away. So there might be some hands.
Yeah, and Farid hasn't really stepped out of line too much where you could think he's opening super light under the gun. It's not like he's using his big stack in that type of way.
We saw some aggression when the table was a little bit shorter, but not with the 8 and 9 handed. And again, we haven't seen much of the earlier action from Farid throughout here, having not been on the feature tables yesterday. But again, a very, very consistent fold right there, and just keeping it simple and staying out of danger, and not mixing it up, playing big stack poker with the chip leader.
Yeah, the check back from Farid is interesting here. I feel like the big blind here shouldn't be calling a lot of deuce X and even offsuit 3X pre-flop, so kind of a pretty great board for the under the gun player.
Yeah, the 3-3-2 flop, 5 on the turn. We're going to get a delayed C-bet. The 9-8 of diamonds will get out of the way. But yeah, very, very, very much an under the gun open kind of board. You're not, unless it's exactly ace-3 suited, maybe 3-4 suited or king-3 suited. There's not a whole lot that you're really too worried about there.
Yeah, there's certainly some suited 3X in there, just the offsuit 3s, and especially in ICM, if we were earlier in the tournament, he might have more 3X, deuce X, but pressure's on here.
Oh, sheriff.
We got it earlier, but want to give another shout out to our dealer. I love saying the name Billy in the box. Billy's my boy from Pottstown, PA originally, the town over from where I grew up. Found out we know a lot of people in common. He was our inside man on getting some info for our dealer shout-outs yesterday. And as we had said a little bit earlier, give him an extra shout-out, some extra love for Billy. He'd sent a happy Mother's Day to his mom, and a hello shout-out to his girlfriend Samantha and his two kids, Charlotte and Audrey.
Very
nice.
And a very, very good dude, very well-liked in the room here. And we've seen so many people, both in the comments yesterday, earlier today, and then just around the room in general, really appreciating Billy, just a good dude, and again, well-liked both among the dealers and the players.
Yeah, that's good to see. I think dealers, it is a tough gig, and people don't really realize how tough of a job it really is, and the game does not flow without the dealer, and they catch a lot of flack, but it's a tough job, man.
Yeah. And we've had a lot of really, really good ones here. We said that yesterday. We said that again today. Especially under the lights here, it's a little bit different. The cards are going to slide a little bit different than how some of the other tables are. You're dealing with the shot clock. You're dealing with having to get the cards in the box. There's different buttons on the shot clock. A lot of moving parts, and again, in general, very, very well handled from the 4 or 5 dealers we've had throughout the main streams, and kind of throughout the entire series from what I've seen on the streams and from what we've been in the booth for. Our hand here, we saw an under the gun open from Matt Zambanini. Bobby Thomas flatted an ace-queen. Flop of 10-7-2 with 2 diamonds on the board. Bobby with ace-queen of diamonds. Turn is a 4 of diamonds. Excuse me. We had a small bet on the flop, just over 1 big. River,
there.
10 of diamonds. The backdoor diamonds come through. Bobby, sneaky check here with the queen-high diamonds, and you have to wonder if Matt's going to try and take this one down now. Does just check it back. Disciplined, not trying to get too far out of line, understanding a lot of the floats are going to be something like this with the backdoor diamonds. And a nice little chip up for Bobby. 3.2 million in chips for Bobby Thomas. And a very small hit for Matt. Not anything that's going to move the needle too much. Just a couple big blinds.
Yeah, Bobby definitely wanted to pick up a little bit more on the river there, but
yeah, it was just about
doesn't take the bait.
Just about any sizing is going to see a very quick call from Bobby there if anything comes through.
I think even a raise at that point. A lot of the king of diamonds, ace of diamonds hands you might hear from earlier in the hand.
Maybe, but he could run into sets. He could run into boats. I don't know that, especially at that depth, you're going to want to raise, because what are you going to do against any additional aggression, and what's going to call you if you raise that?
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to get called by a weaker diamond. And unless he just thinks he's completely full of it, you know, maybe an ace-10 without the diamond or something like that. I don't know. But, you know, there's not a – I don't think there's a whole lot of value in the raise.
Oh, yeah.
My personal opinion.
100%.
We get some love for Ricardo in the chat. We get Berks County represent. Wanna say that at least pieces of Pottstown is Chester County. Pieces of Pottstown is Montgomery County. Pieces of Pottstown, Berks County. I can't say that I know which actual county Billy in the Box is from, but
gotta claim one.
Kind of a collection of it was kind of like a intersection of multiple counties, right?
Gotta
there.
claim Chester County. That's the clear superior one. Come on now.
That's the county that I was from.
Yeah, me too.
Many people that I went to school with were just over the border into Montgomery and out towards Berks County.
One other point of props for Billy in the Box and the rest of the dealers and staff is it's a tough job too, in that every player expects you to be absolutely flawless in the box, and it's a very tough thing to live up to.
Yeah, especially knowing that there's live viewers watching you as well on the live
100%.
stream can be understandable.
Yeah, we had I believe Lash, Robert, and Carter throughout the day today and yesterday, and you know, again, a couple very, very small, but no major hiccups. You know, a card that'll flip here or there, right. and again, the table's different. The cards are sliding different. I actually saw them practicing sliding cards on this table before the streams went live, because it is different than how you're dealing normally. And anyone who's even played a home game, you know that there's going to be some tables where things slide, some tables where things will kind of kick up on its own. So it was really cool to see them preparing to be on the featured table yesterday, you know, and practicing sliding cards here to try and be ahead of some of that. And it is a pretty cool thing to see them, like, you know, honing their craft and trying to be as close to perfect as they can be. And we want to shout them out as best we can. I know that, again, like you said, they get a little bit of flack for some things here and there, but we've seen a lot of really, really good dealers here. Yeah. And it's a big moment for them too. You know, they're on stream. They're we see their face, you know, as much as anyone here. As you see the action, you see the edge of Billy all the time, and depending on the angles here, and it's a pretty cool thing for them as well.
Yeah.
I saw in the chat a question that, where are you from? No, I'm not Boyertown. I'm not Boyertown. Boyertown is up there, I think, also right on the edge of Montgomery and Berks County. I'm from right outside Phoenixville. I went to Owen J. Roberts High School. I believe the school is in Bucktown Crossing. I think a Pottstown mailing address, though.
And who is Owen J. Roberts?
It's a Supreme Court justice.
Interesting.
Pulled that one out of somewhere.
I'm always intrigued by those high schools with names of random people, and you're like, this has to be somebody throughout history.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of how visible some of those names are. Because, you know, I've got family from Virginia. I think I have a cousin that went to Robert E. Lee High School. That one's a pretty obvious one for anyone who's gone through history. But you get some of the others that are a little bit more obscure references from all over for any number of things.
Yeah. I went to Abraham Clark High School in Roselle. He's a guy that signed the Declaration of Independence.
So a very important figure in history, but not a very, very well-known. I would never have known that.
Yeah, it took me a while living there to find out.
We see a hand here. It looks like we had an open from Todd, a big blind defend from Doug, a queen 10-5 board here, and a c-bet from Todd and a fold from Doug. The 100K c-bet, a good sizing there. You know, got defending the protection for the queen there, with a couple straight opportunities and some diamonds on board.
A funny poker story about my town is it's the same town that Phil Ivey is from.
Okay.
And so my mom had a job at a doctor's office, and you know, she would chat up the patients and stuff, and she would tell them about her kids. So this is when I was playing poker like full time, and it's like, oh yeah, this one woman said her nephew plays some poker. That's how she described it, some poker.
Yeah.
Come to find out her last name's Ivy. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh no.
Come to find out it's Phil Ivey's aunt. I'm like, oh, some poker is Phil Ivey, right?
Yeah. Just a little bit over the years, just a little bit.
What a flex. Yes, some poker.
Yeah. one of the most recognizable names in the history of poker.
Right. It's like, yeah, this guy plays some golf, and Tiger
Yeah.
Woods rolls
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We see Joe the Foote with the 9-9 coming in for a raise here, 115K. I had the opportunity to sit next to Ivy on day one of the main event a few years back, and it was a really fun experience.
He's actually a pretty funny dude.
I'm annoyingly outgoing. I think we've kind of pretty well established that around here. I can be very loud, as the table has yelled at me at times over the different streams and commentaries that we've done. We see a 3-bet here from Matt from the button with the King Jack.
Yeah, pretty aggressive versus the under the gun +1 open.
But I also certainly understand a lot of the attention that comes with who Phil is, and trying not to be too annoying with it. So we had a lot of fun talking throughout the day. At least I had a lot of fun. But it felt like he had a lot of fun. And one of the funniest things for me was the way that he lit up when we started talking about food, and just the sushi spot in Vegas. There was his spot, and just in general, some of the away from poker, away from the spotlight types of conversations, because there's a lot of people coming up and talking.
Yeah.
And I know they were coming up to talk to me, so it was it was tough beating them away. But
Curious if Matt finds the C-bet here in position with the King of Spades. Nines probably wouldn't fold the 9 of Spades in hand as well.
We do get 225 from Matt Z.
Yeah, fairly big pot already. Remember, this is a 3-bet pot.
Get the call from Joe the Foote. We'll see a turn.
Yeah, about 24 big blinds in the middle.
8 of clubs, a good one for Joe. Obviously, the 9 would have been a little bit better, but that's not gonna hurt Joe at all. He has to think that if he was ahead on flop, he's going to be ahead on turn here.
Yeah, and Matt has at least certainly shown the willingness to apply pressure pre-flop. Let's see if that translates to some post-flop aggression here.
Yeah, I mean, given what we've seen Matt open up with 3-betting on stream currently and previously, it's not bad to continue on with the 9s there.
Should be a better platter.
Fires again.
A pretty good size here.
Yeah, a little less than half pot. It's going to be
530 into a little over 1.2, about 40% or so. It's a very good sizing for Matt, because it sets up a clear river jam, if that's ever the intention, which it certainly could be. It's enough that it could be value, it could be bluff. It's a really, really good sizing here.
Yeah, I wouldn't even hate sizing up a little bit more just to make it closer to an equal percent between the turn and the river. I think the river shove would be closer to 60%, and maybe you want to size up a little bit more on a double flush draw board.
Going to get the call from Joe. I wonder if some of the thought process could be that the larger river rip, should we get it, looks a little bit stronger. It's a little bit more to call. 3 of spades on the river.
Yeah, I mean,
We see the check marks next to Joe. We're going to get a check here, and we'll see if Matt decides to go for this rip.
King of Spades in hand. I think this is a pretty nice candidate to fire with, but it's also a question of how often does your opponent end up with something here on the turn that he's not going to call river with.
Yeah.
If he's just going to be calling his range too frequently here, then bluffing becomes pretty dangerous.
We're getting
9 million?
Yeah.
Or 900,000.
You have how many chips, dude? 200 big blinds?
Okay.
We do get the all-in from Matt here.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
It's a really, really sick spot for Joe. But if Joe thinks that he was ahead, sure, the spade does come in. But it's a really good board for this exact category of hand to bluff. It's the same idea with ace X with the ace of spades. It's a good category for these types of hands to make this bluff.
Joe having the 9 of spades is pretty important here. I think queen 9 suited, king 9 suited are some fairly likely hands that Matt's going to 3-bet here and kind of blast off.
Yeah, it's not a slam dunk fold, certainly not a slam dunk call. It's just a matter of does he believe Matt, and we've seen Matt willing to put chips in without it so far. So the question becomes, does he believe him, or does he fear the queens versus jacks cooler that we saw a little bit earlier? And a lot of information to sift through from Joe.
Yeah, and on the flip side of what I mentioned earlier, like if he's not bluffing enough, then, or if he's bluffing too much, or if he's not bluffing enough, then you don't call too much. But if he's bluffing just a lot of hands like we've seen him seemingly have a tendency to do, tough to fold on the river.
Certainly taking his time, a big spot here. We can see the size of the pot, 3.7 right now. Yeah, Joe would have about 30 bigs behind if he folds here. Joe calls, he'll be a significant chip leader with up over 5 million in chips.
Yeah, this is not an easy call to make.
Back over 100 big, and a little small gap between him and Farid. A really, really good, difficult bet from Matt here.
They were locking a hand not too long ago, right? It was like queen jack versus, was it sevens for Joe? And Matt flopped the jack.
Was it sevens? I know the hand you're talking about. It was the jack 10, 9.
Yeah.
I think it was ace 9.
Ace 9, correct.
Jack
Ace
10,
9,
7.
yes.
And we saw Matt not go for value. Now, the board texture was much, much different in that spot. We saw Matt not go for the value at the end.
Joe keeps tossing in these time bank chips. You can see he's really mulling this over. He doesn't believe him.
You have to think if he is taking this much time, that it is that he doesn't believe him and is trying to decide if he's going to make this call or not. By no way am I rooting against Matt Zambanini, but man, I would love to see this hero call.
Yeah, this would just be a well-played hand from everybody, I think. I mean, it already is.
Yeah, from this side of things, you just love to see good poker.
Makes the call. That's incredible.
Wow.
Incredible call from Joe the Foote here. Joe's gonna see the news. You see the sigh of relief from that. It wasn't even excitement. It was relief. I mean, after making a hero call for your tournament life at the final table here on a stream at the Borgata with $250,000 up top.
I mean, you see there's a 100 big blinds in the pot that he just won. He's going to be the chip leader. That means everything, especially with stacks that are around the 20 big blind mark at a final table. That's just one of the more nerve-wracking spots you could possibly be in. So huge credit to finding the call there. And
wait a sec.
A good game to Matt.
He's packing up. I don't think he would. It didn't look like he was covered. But I thought it was all in the call. I thought that's what we were seeing.
No, I don't think
that
so.
That was Matt Z's. Okay, then I must have missed the action there. I thought that was all. I thought that was for all of Joe's chips. I must have had the graphics backwards on my end. Matt Zambanini out in 8th place here at the Spring Poker Open Championship main event, $28,500 for his efforts. I mean, that heck of a run. That's an incredible hero call to send him home in 8th.
Yeah, I think that's a bluff that you have to pull the trigger on, so credit to finding the right play, I think. Just unfortunate to run into a hand that really is good properties to calling.
It was a good hand to make the hero call, and if you just didn't believe the narrative,
Yeah, I feel like he probably had the exact hand Matt was putting him on, thought I can get him off of 9s, 10s, something like that, and just a lot of times it works, a lot of times it doesn't. It's almost, different version of a coin flip. Either it's going to work or it's not.
Yeah, no one's arguing against the bluff. It was a really, really good bluff candidate, a really good time, and they're not always going to work.
Yep.
I would rather take the 15 or 20 if you guys want.
705. 8:35. No, I want the dinner break. Yeah.
Come on, man.
He was also in a tough spot because if he bets the flop, gets called, it goes check the turn, he kind of gave up power in the hand to Joe.
Yeah,
and Matt's not that kind of guy.
If you're going to take the line, you have to triple barrel that.
Right.
And he did, and it's going to work a lot of the time.
Right.
And he's going to get paid by these kinds of hands because of his image as well when he has it. He could have just had a nut flush or something like that. He could have had a set, and is going to get paid because of that image in those times.
Yeah, we've got 7 players remaining now, as we alluded to in the stream prior. We'll be stopping this with 6 remaining.
Nobody busts to 1 minute, all in blind everyone.
It sounds like we're going to be going on a break.
Me and my boy did it yesterday. We were supposed to.
No, we did it. We did it, yeah. The chop.
We see Bobby Thomas with the ace-king. Raises, gets called by Mike in the small blind with the jack-9 of clubs. Our flop looks to be ace-10-3, 1 club, pair of aces for Bobby, backdoor straight flush for Mike. We're going to get a c-bet here. I think we'll get a float from Mike with 3 to the straight flush.
Claims he flubbed the nuts, had 2 pair. He would drive that.
Sizing up just a little bit.
No, the whole board ran up.
We saw the board.
Yeah, pretty notable size up. 66% of the pot. Ish.
And that's going to be enough for Mike to send into the muck. I think a smaller c-bet will see him float and peel and see the turn there. And sizing up gets him to go into the muck. We are going to continue here.
Yeah, maybe even raise versus a small size.
Sure. It's a good candidate for that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, but the bet sizing right now is going to be super key because everyone is so condensed close together. It's like if you're betting too high, it's not worth it to carry on.
Yeah, exactly. And you're able to get some of those types of hands that will want to see turns their away by sizing up. So I like that out of Bobby, and obviously it seems to have worked for in this exact circumstance to take away a hand that could pick up a huge amount of equity depending on that turn.
All eyes are on Ricardo now as we are with 7 left, playing down to 6. Ricardo with less than 20 bigs.
19 big blinds, still deep enough that he's not on any immediate chopping block, any immediate urgency to make a move, but also at a depth where you could see rips over an open, over a single open at any point from him. We're going to get Doug raising the queen-jack of spades from his cutoff. Todd with a king-jack of clubs in the small blind, looking down and going. That was a time chip, not any action here. Those look like raising chips from Todd. 3 bets to 430,000. Joe in the big blind.
Pretty fearless from Todd, given that he's the second shortest stack by a good margin. Not playing the game of waiting till Ricardo gets into a confrontation.
Joe getting out of the way here, and Doug the kind of hand that may want to see a flop in position here. That's not a spot that he's going to want to give up too often with the queen-jack suited here in position. But we are facing someone who 3-bet out of position, second to last in chips, knowing that we've got Ricardo under, again, as we were just saying, under 20 big blinds. He's going to lay it down, and I do like that. That's a hand that's going to get dominated by a lot of 3-bets, but it's also a hand that it's just so pretty in position is very, very easy to want to see the flop. And
It was a good miss.
Yeah, that's a scenario where calling a hand like 5-6 suited might be a lot better than calling a hand like 10-9 suited or something like that.
Yeah, a lot less opportunities to be dominated by the exactly what we saw, the king jacks, the ace jacks, king queens, whatever it may be.
And like you said, a really good spot for him to pull that 3-bet out of, given his stack size.
Yeah.
Like you have to give him respect on that.
Yep, and putting pressure can be applied from any of these stacks to just about any one of the other stacks because of just how condensed these chip stacks are. So it could be flip side. Todd could put pressure on Doug in a similar type spot because of those chip dynamics.
Yep.
Farid looking down with the ace king of hearts here. We're going to see an open 125.
You might even see Ricardo get a little impatient and get out of line thinking, obviously my big blind's vulnerable because on the short stack, and here comes big stack raising it.
Yeah.
Here's Mike with the ace-queen of spades in the cutoff. We've seen this hand flat in this type of position a few times throughout the day.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the a prime candidate to flat here, which he decides to go with as well.
We do see that here. Heads up to the flop here. Ace king of hearts for Farid. Ace queen of spades for Mike. Jack 8 for 2 clubs and a diamond is gonna keep a lot of the collisions on the smaller side here, we would think.
Yeah, I'm sure Ricardo was hoping to pick up a hand where he could potentially see a flop and get some of that overlay from the other two players, but nope. No hard on board for Farid here. Makes it a little bit less of a appealing check call.
I wouldn't have minded to seen a bet from Mike there. Oof.
Wow, drills the queen on the turn. And that might even entice Farid to start bluffing at this. 2 overs, a gut shot. Can potentially barrel on missed flush draw rivers, given that he unblocks all the flush draws. Fires out a big size.
Wow.
75% pot.
I was going to say, he puts out a small enough bet that's easy to walk away from, given the stack size. It's not a big deal just to throw the feeler bet out there, but...
Yeah, this is a size where you would have to fold to raise, given that the raise would be fairly substantial, I would imagine, this deep.
Call.
You have to call.
Yeah, I think raising is just a little bit too sketchy this deep, where there's going to be a lot of board-changing rivers. You're not going to be too comfortable with just top pair here. And a board pairing 8. Hard to imagine how much 8x ends up here. Certainly Mike is deep enough to have some in his flatting range.
Yeah, for sure.
10-8 suited. And Mike's going to have to make a decision to go for value or not. I think facing this action, he should be fairly confident that he has the strongest hand, so I would mainly try to, target a king-queen, king-jack potentially type hand. Although king-jack probably would never bet for that size on the turn.
Yeah. I don't think he has any concern about being called with better.
Yeah. Also have to ask yourself if you try to kind of hand size and choose like a half pot size.
Check.
Wow, he checks it back. Yeah, maybe some concern about if he puts out like a little half pot bet for the type of player who can attack that and raise over.
Yeah, and that puts you in a very dicey spot.
Mike earns a fairly decently sized pot though, 10 big blinds. Not nothing.
Look like we're going to be going on a dinner break. So we're going to be stepping away one moment here. It looks like we're going to be going on a dinner break. As we've done before, I believe we'll be shutting down the stream for the dinner break. Coming back, I think it's a full 75-minute dinner. If it is how we have been doing it, we'll be shutting down this stream, have a new link up shortly to continue after that dinner break. Here at the final table, playing down to 6 of the Spring Poker Open main event at the Borgata Casino Hotel and Spa in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Powered by BetMGM Poker. You can see we have 7 remaining players playing down to 6 when we return from dinner a little bit later this evening. I'm Matt McNeil, Whitesmith the Blacksmith, here with David Two Flame Canane. And Chris from the BetMGM Poker team, we'll leave the last name out for now, from the Poker Strategy and formerly Gaming Integrity departments within the BetMGM Poker team. Chris, thanks for hanging out the whole time. I thought we were only going to be on for a few minutes, hung out the whole time. We had a good time.
Man. Let's kick it,
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate
for
you
hopping
coming in, and love having the BetMGM team join us here on the streams down at the Borgata. We will be back after dinner as we play down to 6. Thanks a lot.